down with a saw, then returned a few hours later with an axe and split the cross. The axe was left at the scene along with a handwritten note. Police have released surveillance video of the incident, which is available on the department's social media pages. Anyone with any information should contact St. Louis County Police. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Illinois is awarding another round of Regional Site Readiness Program grants. Governor J.B. Pritzker has announced that a total of $35 million in grants will support site readiness activities at 22 sites across the state. The Regional Site Readiness Program prepares sites to attract future industrial investment and new job opportunities in the state. To date, Illinois has awarded $115 million to support 63 projects. Now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. The Dow is currently up more than 0.25% to up 151 points to 54,036. The NASDAQ also up today. It is currently up 342 points to 26,690. And to round it out, the S&P 500 is up 47 points to 7,757. KTRS News Time is 3:08. Let's head over to the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, where I get to say good afternoon to Joe Davis.
How you doing, Solomon? Yes, the Cardinals are back home tonight to play the Colorado Rockies at Busch. Kyle Leahy gets the ball for the Birds. SLU basketball has finalized its non-conference schedule for the upcoming season. The Billikens will open the year November 2nd with Lehigh and will ultimately play 5 teams that played in the NCAA tournament last year. I'm Joe Davis from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. There is an accident blocking the left lane of Sunset Hills on 270 South, just north of the I-44 exit. Stop-and-go traffic is back to Doherty Ferry. There's also stop-and-go traffic in Bridgeton on 70 West between 270 and 5th Street. There's another accident blocking the left lane in Chesterfield on 64 West at Timberlake Manor, and there is slow traffic 64 West between Kings Highway and McCausland. This traffic report was brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your single tickets now for Stages St. Louis. Take a trip back to the 40s and 50s with Guys and Dolls, which runs through August 23rd. Stages will wrap this year with the incredible true story of Come From Away. Call 314-821-2407 or visit stagesstlouis.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Joe Davis on the Big 550 KTRS.
And in your KTRS First Alert forecast, dry times ahead for the weekend. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 73. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 90. Heat indices approaching 100. Partly cloudy tomorrow night with a low around 73. And on Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 93. Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies, 90 degrees, and a heat index of 96 at the KTRS studios in Maryland Heights at 310. I'm David Solomon, KTRS News on the Talk of St. Louis.
You guys, we did it. We survived another work week. Happy Friday. Heidi Glaus here with Josh Gilbert, Bob Ramsey, the whole gang back together. Josh, still maybe a little under the weather. He hasn't said a whole lot this afternoon.
Very quiet.
Very.
Just hanging in there, guys.
Okay.
Waiting for the weekend.
All right. We're just staying
hang
over
in there,
here with
buddy.
our Lysol and hopefully not going to get sick. You thought that after COVID, people would stay home when they're sick, but
I am feeling much better.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. We'll see if we're feeling
Yeah.
much
let
better
me know on
next
Sunday.
week. Yeah, I
Let me
love
know
that
on
you think
Sunday.
it's funny.
I don't think it's funny, but I'll tell you what. for the amount of times that I get sick, my wife and son don't catch it. So apparently
They're immune to dad.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I just keep it to myself.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Natural immunity.
Let's
these
hope that's
germs
the case.
are mine.
All right. Well, I hope you feel better soon. We've got a lot to get to on this Friday afternoon. First up, we're going to talk to the legal affairs editor for The Hill. And this tariff money, the refunds are going out. And apparently, it's really boosting that quarterly report for a lot of big companies. But I want to know what happens to the small businesses and what about the rest of us who were paying higher prices on all of these goods? Will we ever see any sort of money back in our pockets? So we're going to talk about that coming up here at 3:30. We'll also check in with Rich Frankel, ABC's former special agent in charge FBI. What are flock cameras and why are they currently in the news? I have no idea what they are. Sounds like they should be for birds.
Yeah, I heard of them this week. Yeah, bird watching cameras.
Flock?
I've only heard of them this week, and from what I could surmise, are they police cameras? And people have been able to tap into them?
I don't know. We'll talk to Rich Frankel about that. Then in the 4 o'clock, it's what we like to call the happy hour. Mike Ward joins us every Friday, and I'm really excited about this because we are talking about a premium wine brand that we've never discussed before, and it's a white wine, and it is a winery that is known for kind of perfecting Chardonnay. So we will talk to Mike Ward about that. We'll also hear about his trip because he just got back from the Danube. So that's coming up. We'll check in with Lieutenant General Richard Newton with News Nation. What's the truth behind our depleted weapons supply? And is that part of the reason that every once in a while we pause the conflict, or does that have nothing to do with it whatsoever? So that is coming up. We'll also talk a little sports with Brendan Weezy in the 4 o'clock. And then the 5 o'clock, I don't know if you guys saw this story, but Gateway Arch Park Foundation and a couple of other nonprofits and then investors are going to take over the Kiener Plaza parking garages. And so we'll find out what they plan to do with those and what else is going on, because I know there's like a redo of Kiener Plaza. We've got the Millennium Hotel that's coming down, so we'll get an update on all of that. We'll also check in with Alex Stone, ABC News, Meta, who, of course, is the body of Facebook and Instagram, have been ordered to pay $500 million for kids' mental health. So we'll get that story. We got some entertainment news, and then we will wrap this show up with some randoms. I told you guys we have a lot, and we're going to get to all of it, and we want you to be a part of it on our text line. KTR's text line, 84126. I just saw a demographic study that NPR released, and it's a massive shift in the American family dynamics. And due to, this crazy cost of living and the stress and the record percentage of parents are now financially supporting their children, not just through high school and college, but in adulthood. It's no longer just about helping out with maybe that first apartment, which, thank God, my parents did. And you know what? Every single time they would come to visit in that first apartment and maybe the second apartment, we'd go to Target. They'd help me with the, toilet paper and filling up the fridge and all of that. But now parents are routinely covering groceries, phone bills, insurance for kids. And I'm talking about into their late 20s and 30s, reshaping kind of what retirement is going to look like for these parents. So, it's a delicate balance because mom and dad want to retire at some point. But then where is your guilt of helping your child?
I think I had my car insurance paid for quite a while by my parents.
Okay.
I'll cop to that. No shame, actually. But I think for the most part, I paid for everything else. But I think I got kicked off their health insurance, so I had to go get my own. But I think they paid my car insurance for a long time.
Okay.
I don't think I had health insurance for a long time.
Yeah, I think I was running naked for a minute.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, I have not only do I not have any guilt about helping my kids out, I like to help them
Yeah.
because things can be tough. And, so I think some people want to attach some sort of guilt to it. I don't feel any. The reason I'm here is to raise kids. So that's what I'm doing.
Is there an age, and this is for you guys on the text line, 84126, that you should kind of maybe put a
Cut it
hand
off?
up and say, look, we've done this for a while. It's time for you to step out on your own. Or is it,
My mom helped pay for Finn's daycare for a year.
That's nice.
Yeah.
really
And
nice?
it was really great. And when she stopped,
You
it really
realize,
hurt.
yeah.
Ouch.
When she stopped, I gave her a big hug and said, thanks for everything that you did. We didn't realize how big of a hit it would be. But,
And did she do that for your siblings as well?
well, I think what she did, she bought my brother's son a car, or she pitched in for the down payment or something. She's, throws money around here and there, and she wanted to kind of keep it even.
Got it.
So, yeah, that was part of that.
So Finn won't get money for a car.
Well, we'll see. He's 5 now. I'll tell you
Long
in 11,
time.
11 years, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Do you think, Bob, I mean, you're the dad with older kids. Is there any point that you would kind of say, look, we've been doing this for...
I think for me, I would not presume to tell anyone how they handle their own family.
Mhm.
I think for me, if I felt like I was being taken advantage of,
Yeah.
and at no point has there been an inkling of that to me. I don't feel that way at all. Now, if I felt like a kid was being a gold bricker and didn't want to, wasn't making an effort
Yeah.
and wasn't honestly trying to take care of themselves, then I don't know. I'm sure I would have a conversation, but that hasn't occurred.
So you don't
I'm-
have to. You're lucky.
I'm pretty lucky, I think.
Yeah. I think it's one of those interesting ones for kind of people of a certain age.
Is it an economic thing, or is it just something that parents are able to do
I think
as the
this
years
is more,
go, as the generations go on?
well, I mean, there is generational wealth, but I think this instance is more about the cost of living and a lot of people maybe not being able to afford their own home and needing a little extra help.
I think that's the key right there.
Yeah. And I think that is a whole different thing than just, as you kind of pointed out, being taken advantage of.
Over the last 6, 8, 10 years, just the cost of homes. We talk to Lauren every week. It has just skyrocketed. You
Yeah.
take that, the skyrocketing costs of college, and it's daunting. I mean, it's really incredible.
Yeah. Somebody said I fund $200 each a month for two of my kids' retirement fund. Both own their own homes but can't afford to save. That is a great gift,
good.
is what I would
Good
say.
plan.
I think high school has become like junior high and college like high school. Once the law was passed that parents had to cover the kids until 26, and cell phones have created the world's longest umbilical cord. I'm 60. I paid for my own college and had a great time. My parents told me to either go to school or get a job and support myself. They also prepared me for that option. So, yeah,
I have to point out that school is way more expensive now than
absolutely.
it ever was back then, like exponentially more expensive. And housing. What was that stat? We saw housing went up 70% since the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
That's not sustainable.
No.
That's not. And things will flatten out and wages will go up. And
Will they, though? I
Well,
mean,
that's
we've
the
been
hope.
saying that for how
That's-
long?
that's the hope. But over 6 years, home prices shot up by 70%. That's really weird. And you can't expect somebody in their 20s to buy a house that costs that much.
No.
They can't. They just can't.
Somebody said, not sure if there's a certain age. It just depends on the kid's financial situation, like if they're between jobs or saving for a house. And I agree with that. I think it is one of those things, though, that comes down to generational wealth. I know that my mom and dad were gifted some money to put down on their first house. And so then when I bought my first house, my mom and dad did the same thing for
That's great.
me. And it just is a whole different kind of footing. Similarly, I was able to play basketball and softball on a scholarship and didn't have a bunch of debt when I got out of school because my parents did cover the rest of
Mm-hmm.
that. So you're just starting off differently at a certain point.
Right.
But Let's switch to something that is a little more fun. And I talked about the happy hour coming up in 4, but it is International Beer Day. So here are some beer myths that actually might be just that, a beer myth. Drinking a lot of beer gives you a beer belly. True or false?
True.
I think depending on the variables, I will say I lean slightly to the true side.
It's a combination
Yeah.
of too many calories in general and a sedentary lifestyle. But
Right.
beer on its own, if you are working out and you're doing all those other things, you're not getting that beer belly.
Have you ever seen a guy or a gal who has the skinniest legs and the nicest arms, and they just have a barrel midsection? My friend's
Every
dad,
time I look in the mirror.
you know, Bob, you look great. My friend's dad had this, this barrel chest, and he'd go play golf, and I'm like, I don't even know how Steve can swing a club like that, but he'd get out there and whack it. Yeah. Oh, he also drank a lot of beer.
There you
That's
go.
why I bring that up.
Dark beers are stronger than light beers. True or false?
They often can be, but it's not a rule.
Yeah.
You can get some of the porters and things that are 10%, 11%, but it's not an absolute.
No, and that's what shocked me. The first time I took a sip of Guinness, I thought
doctor.
for sure it was going to be like, it wasn't. Guinness
No.
is 4.2.
And it has-
Budweiser is stronger at 5%.
Yeah.
Guinness has less calories than most beers.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
It is, but that is kind of a myth that you think, and
Yeah.
we're busting it.
Those
Yeah.
IPAs have way more alcohol.
Do they? See,
Than
I
the
don't
dark
drink
beer,
those, so
yeah.
I don't know, but I know the porters and some of the
Yeah.
other dark beers can be up 8, 9, 10%.
And Josh, you touched on one, IPAs, and there are a lot of them. A myth is they're always pretty bitter. But in reality, they are under a wide tent.
Why are the ones I always try bitter?
Well,
Yeah,
you're trying the
they're
wrong
so-
one.
Yes.
So bad.
So you've got like the West Coast IPA, East Coast, like New England hazy IPAs. There's so
Indian.
many different kinds of IPAs. You just kind of have to try to find. And then 3 more. You tell me if it's a myth or not. Beer before liquor, never been sicker.
Yeah.
Not true.
I think it's true.
Really depends on how much alcohol you're drinking, not the order. From a scientific perspective, alcohol is alcohol. Different drinks might cause you to have a worse hangover compared to other drinks because of certain molecules.
And sugar.
Yep.
Sugar can be a big culprit in that.
I definitely am okay if I'm drinking the same thing throughout the evening.
The mixing.
It's the mix. If I all of a sudden have a glass of wine and I want to go to a dirty martini the next day, it's not going to be good.
Well, I think if you have a couple of beers and you get, half cocked, then you go and drink a hard alcohol or a wine, you're going to drink it faster
Probably, yep.
than you normally would.
Speaking of hangovers, draft beer gives you a hangover. True or false?
I don't think that's true. I think it depends on how it's poured.
I think it's a myth.
It is a myth. Drinking an excessive amount of alcohol, no matter what the type, can cause the hangover. And then one more. Beer should always be served ice cold.
No.
It's preference. A lot of the dark beers, a lot of the like Guinness and others, that room temperature are just slightly less. But I think, speaking for most Americans and most American beers, ice cold is preferred.
Yeah.
So we go to this bar and they'll freeze their glasses.
Oh,
We do that
nice.
at the house.
Yeah, nice.
I ask them to give me one that's not frozen.
What?
Because it's too cold. It's too cold. You can't taste
No.
the beer. Wait till Mike gets in here. The colder it is, the less you can actually taste it.
Well, that's not what the chilled mug is about.
Well, it just makes it even colder.
Okay.
I like a good ice cold beer.
Yeah, I was gonna we keep a bunch of mugs, and anytime we have friends over, they always request it.
Yeah, so I don't know if you have is your beer in the fridge though too?
Yes.
And then you take it out and put it in
But
the glass.
I wouldn't say they're ice cold.
So it's what is that? Would that be then probably 40 degrees when you're drinking it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not saying that ice particles should actually be in the beer, but cold,
no,
really
you get,
cold.
You get cold chunks in there.
That's not. Then they're not
It's
doing it
too
right.
cold.
It's supposed to be just a frosted mug.
Yeah. All right. So we, when I was working at J Bucks, we had the Budweiser rep come in, and they taught us how to pour beer out of a bottle and from the tap and everything. And they poured a beer out, and he left like a really big foamy head on the top. And he goes, "Is this good?" And we all said, "No, it's a terrible pour." And he said, "Not necessarily, because all this white foam, that's gas.
Yep.
That's in the bottle. That's in your glass right now. And if I didn't pour it like this, it'd be in your stomach."
Yep.
So
Mike Ward and I actually are talking about just that this Sunday on Uncorked with Ward on Wine.
I got to listen to that.
Yours truly,
I have
Heidi
no
Glaus.
idea.
Let the gas out of the bottle of beer, and you'll be less gassy inside.
Yeah. But
Good
Mike
tip.
just texted, and it's the same thing that I have here on my list. Ice cold temperatures can actually ruin the flavor of a good beer. So you don't want it ice cold. You want to be able to taste it.
So how does that apply to Anheuser-Busch Natural Light?
You know what? We'll ask Mike when he gets here.
Well, when it comes to Natural Light, the colder the better.
Yeah, somebody on the text line, temperature affects the flavor profile. Somebody said our favorite bar is the Frosty Mug, and they are. And then going back to our other topic, we raised our children to be self-sufficient. Part of that was teaching them to take schooling very seriously, and when it was time to go off to college to study for a degree to be able to find a job to sustain them, or go to trade school to learn a trade. Now we help our kids financially and emotionally by our choice because of their career choices. They really don't need our help. Somebody else said that my kids are both in their 30s, married now with a child or two and making good money. We still pay for dinners, vacations, and things for grandkids, even though they don't need it. Sometimes I'm torn about that. LOL, they probably have more money than we do.
That's what parents and grandparents do.
That's exactly right.
No, I
At
don't
least
think
you
there
hope
should
so.
be any guilt in that.
Yeah.
Zero.
Somebody said, my daughter has been married 3 years and expecting her first baby. She's 25. She's on her husband's insurance, and I told her to use ours as well while she can. And then our friend Liz, my mom worked until she was 82, and then when she could no longer work, I picked up more of her expenses. So it's not just adults helping their kids, but helping their parents too, which is a great point.
And we do that show on the weekends, Boomers and Beyond, with Derek Dufresne. Normally it's Jill with them. I filled in this week. And he talks all the time about the sandwich generation, the Gen Xers, who have parents that
And
they have
kids.
to deal with and kids that they have to deal with. And like Liz said, you're paying for both of them. You're taking care of both of them.
Yeah.
So people in their 50s and even 60s, they're caught in this weird tug of war where they've
Sometimes
got
even your 40s.
in your 40s.
Yeah. I
you've
mean,
got-
it's a tough one, and a lot of people get stuck in that, and it's a tough one. And trying to balance it all. It's not just the money, it's trying to get everybody to
Time.
the right places. But it is 3:30. We need to get a check of traffic right now with Captain Joe Davis.
There is an accident blocking the right lane on 70 West at 5th Street, and traffic is backed up to Earth City Expressway. Stopped traffic on I-55 and 70 eastbound between Exchange Avenue and Illinois 111 due to construction. And there is stop-and-go traffic on 270 Outer at 367, backed up to Bell Fountain Road due to an accident blocking the two left lanes. Also tonight, one northbound lane of 55 will be closed between Weber and 4500 Broadway from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Saturday morning. This traffic report was brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to your team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Joe Davis on the Big 550 KTRS.
Those tariff refunds have given a boost to quarterly earnings for some of our country's biggest companies. The Hill's Zach Schoenfeld joins us with more on that story. And Zach, how much money are companies getting back? Is it a percentage?
It is all of those tariffs that were struck down by the Supreme Court, and not all the refunds are out quite yet, but already, according to this latest update from the government that was sent in just the last few days, we are told that now $100 billion has been sent to the Treasury Department for disbursement. So it is quite a sum. We do believe that the total, when all is said and done, will be $166 billion. So the number is continuing to climb. But already, most of the refunds are out the door now of those tariffs struck down by the Supreme Court.
And Zach, how's it distributed? Is it one big check?
There is an online system now that the government has set up to manage what has been this massive process. So these thousands of importers, companies, big and small, have been lining up. Now, this does include some of the country's biggest companies. We know that Apple, Amazon, Pepsi, Caterpillar, among some of the mega cap names that have been getting refunds, but also it includes thousands of small businesses across the country. So for some businesses, they're getting a very small amount. For others, we know that Amazon, for example, getting $600 million back. The way this is working logistically is it's going through essentially just like your direct deposit, the equivalent of that for these corporations. So it's all happening electronically.
Are you getting any reactions from the companies, big and small, how they feel about it? Do they feel like it makes them whole from what they lost? Or is it, yeah, give me the check, I'm still not happy kind of attitude? Do you get any sense of that?
Well, if you look at some of just the earnings calls here in the last quarter from some of the biggest companies here in the nation, they have said that it has been a boost to some of their quarterly earnings. You see that not just in some of the tech names that I've been mentioning, like Amazon and Apple, but for example, Pepsi CEO, when he was talking to investors on their recent earnings call, the phrasing he told investors is he said these tariff refunds, quote, come in very handy. So for a lot of these companies, it's been boosting some of their margins. But of course, there's a whole nother question of whether consumers will ever see a dollar of these refunds.
That was going to be my next question, but I did read an article about certain companies trying to sort of pay it forward. Do you know anything about that?
That's right. We have heard from a few companies that say they are planning to give those refunds back. So the two of the biggest names that we've heard from are Amazon and FedEx. FedEx, of course, in a bit of a more unique situation where you're dealing with customers actually having individual packages that the company can trace back. So it has told investors it actually has $800 million in hand that it is planning to give back to customers. We are also told that Amazon, for some of its refunds that it has gotten back, will give it back. But other than those two names, most of the other big companies that we're hearing from, they're saying that they're going to use it to try to keep prices down and all of that. But it doesn't sound like for a lot of these companies, they're planning to send checks out to customers.
And Zach, what about us, the consumer who had to pay higher prices? Will we ever see any of that money?
Well, some consumers are certainly trying, and they are now heading to court. There is a growing number of class action lawsuits that have been filed against some of the country's biggest brands. Just to give you a sense of the list of companies that are now facing lawsuits, it includes brands like American Girl, Five Below, General Motors, IKEA, Microsoft, Nike, and even Target. So these are a growing number of lawsuits, a lot of them still in early stages. But already we're seeing a lot of these brands and their lawyers line up and saying that they don't believe that there is any legal obligation here for them to turn this money around to consumers.
Boy, that makes me want to go out and shop for these companies. This seems like a complete mess. And some companies didn't raise prices and they weathered the storm, and other companies did. But if I go into a store and I buy a pair of Nikes, there's no paper trail of that. They don't know who I am, and I don't know where my receipts are. A lot of stuff is on credit card. Is it even possible for consumers to get their money back?
In a lot of cases, that is the argument that companies are making, whereas you might have a company out there like FedEx where there's some package they can trace it back to. But as you look to some of these other lawsuits, the companies are saying that it would just be not feasible and it would essentially turn all of their pricing models on its head for some of these refunds to go out. And so that is why the message we're hearing from a lot of companies right now is just saying that they're going to work this into their pricing. And that is the best way that they can do this and give it a boost that way. But it does not sound like we're going to see a lot of these direct checks going out to customers. And the other thing I just noted, as we're talking about all these refunds, of course, we're still dealing with the new waves of tariffs that the president has been putting out. Those are also still under litigation. So it is still quite a mess out there.
And where does all this money come from?
This money has been sitting essentially in government accounts ever since these importers have been paying all of these tariffs ever since the president announced them back on Liberation Day last year. The government had known, as this had worked its way up to the Supreme Court, that it was going to be obligated to pay out refunds if this day had come. So this wasn't too much of a surprise after that big ruling from the Supreme Court. But this is still now a bit of a messy and a gradual process here with, like I said, $166 billion in total that needs to go out.
And go back to that thing you just said. You said companies were going to work this into their pricing. Does that mean, did anyone go on record and say we're going to lower our prices now?
I didn't hear necessarily on some of these earnings calls about lowering prices, but to give you one example, on Pepsi's earnings call, one of the things that Pepsi says they're dealing with is higher commodity costs and input costs that it says it's trying to keep prices down. And it says this is now something that's going to help offset that as it deals with these higher commodity costs. Perhaps that now these tariff refunds will, if potentially at least, be able to hold off price increases. But I will say, listening into some of these calls, you don't hear about price decreases a lot of the time.
Yeah, that is true. Well, Zach, thank you so much for joining us and keeping us in the loop. Have a great weekend.
Thanks so much for having me.
I mean, there's so much to know when it comes to that sort of stuff and who's getting it and who's being left out. There's also a lot to know when it comes to your HVAC system. Now, I don't know if it's quite that complicated, but I don't know about you. I'm going to change the filters, and that's going to be about it. For the rest of that stuff, I'm going to Indoor Comfort Team Heating and Air Conditioning because they have fantastic techs. And what's great is they really consider you more than a customer. You're a neighbor. This is people that live in the area. And so when they come into your house, that's the way they treat you, like a good neighbor. Now, of course, not everything is going to go perfectly, but they always finish it perfectly. That's kind of the way Adam runs the company. And he also he's reachable. He actually shares his cell phone with clients and has been called at 11 o'clock at night and actually picks up the phone because Indoor Comfort Team is small enough to care, but big enough to handle any job. And you can reach Indoor Comfort Team at 314-894-8200. That's 314-894-8200. You can also find them online at indoorcomfortteam.com. And one more thing, right now, they have a great deal on their VIP maintenance membership program for only $19.99 a month. You kind of go to the head of the class. It's 24/7 priority service and support, no after hours, overtime, holiday, emergency rate pricing. So if that air conditioner goes out, and it is 100 degrees, and you're an Indoor Comfort Team VIP maintenance membership person, they're coming straight to your door. There's a permanent 10% discount on repairs and equipment, so it really is worth every penny. And again, you can reach Indoor Comfort Team at 314-894-8200 or go online to indoorcomfortteam.com.
We are here with the man, Ryan Raphael. He's the Medicare man of St. Louis. Ryan, one of the biggest misconceptions about Medicare when people reach the age of 65 is if they don't sign up at age 65, they get penalized.
So really what happens is when people are approaching 65, they get all the literature and things coming at them that looks like they have to do something. If somebody is working, they really do not have to sign up for Medicare as long as they're part of an employer of 20 or more employees and they can take it out down the road and not pay penalties.
So if you're over the age of 65 and you have not signed up for Medicare, there's no penalty. There's no reason why you can't do it at age 65, 66, or 67,
That
or
is
70.
correct. Yep.
That is Ryan Raphael. If you're approaching 65 and you have questions about Medicare, he is the man. The Medicare Man, STL.com, 314-368-6808, Ryan Raphael. And if you don't trust me, trust my nanny. My nanny says he's the best. Ryan Raphael, the Medicare Man, MedicareManSTL.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell and Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
The St. Louis Chess Club is a newly expanded 30,000 square foot state-of-the-art chess center featuring world-class tournament playing halls, classrooms, library, and casual play spaces for everyone who loves the game.
But it's so much more than a place to play.
It's where champions are built on the board, in the classroom, and across the community with a mission to bring the game to everyone from all levels, with membership starting at just $15 a month.
Discover the excitement, the challenge, and the community of chess at stlouischessclub.org.
My college roommate said to me recently, everyone needs a good electrician on speed dial. And you know what? He's right. Ever since Michael Baldy has started advertising on the show, you know what? He's been out to the house 4, 5, 6 different times to fix all sorts of things. Good thing I got Michael Baldy on speed dial, because those things are a hazard. And it's one thing, you know how much I like to pretend to think that I'm a home improvement guy. I'll mess with plumbing and I'll mess with woodworking, but there's something I won't mess with, and that's electricity. It's too dangerous. It's too confusing, quite frankly. I know how to plug in a light bulb, but after that, it's baldyelectric.com. So for all of your electrical needs, residential, commercial, indoor, outdoor, TVs, computers, technology, baldyelectric.com. It's the place to go. You need a good electrician on speed dial. That's Michael Baldy, or baldyelectric.com.
Looking for a great local restaurant recommendation? Lead me see more. Tune in to the Kuno Food Service weekly special during the Frank and Jill Show, Thursdays at 11. Hear from the best of the best restaurant owners in town. Only on the Frank and Jill Show, Thursdays at 11. Presented by Kuno Food Service, right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
I'm Bob Hardcastle. Listen to my Money Talk radio program every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. on the Big 550, where we discuss your money in an easy-to-understand manner. We have interesting guests, chat about money. We try to help you feel more comfortable with your money by talking about the investment market. Join me. I'm Bob Hardcastle.
Money Talk, Sunday morning at 8 on the Big 550 KTRS.
Wake up, it's a brand new day. Getting your weekday started the St. Louis way. It's the McGraw Show.
It's Carl the Intern and Monday with the McGraw Show. We hope you have a great weekend. We will tell you all about ours, and stay dry. You might be able to cut the grass this weekend.
McGraw Millhaven, Rose Dalton, and Carl the Intern. Weekday morning, 6 to 10.
Right here on your hometown station, the Big 550 KTRS. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
Well, Heidi and Bob, back in the day on this date, August 7th, 1782.
I remember it well.
George Washington created the Order of the Purple Heart, which is given exclusively to servicemen and women wounded in combat.
Mm-hmm.
It's the oldest military decoration still in use, and the first award made available to the general population.
Very interesting. Any idea how many Purple Hearts have been given out through the years?
I could probably look that up. But
thousands and thousands.
Yeah. Forrest Gump's got one.
He does. And a Medal of Honor.
Yeah, something bit me.
It
1990.
was a bullet, wasn't it?
Yeah. What's that? I'd like to see that sometime. All right, now we're just doing the movie.
Sorry.
Now we're just doing. Remember when he drank all those Dr. Peppers?
Oh, God.
Before he met Kennedy. Have you seen Forrest Gump, Heidi?
Of course.
Okay.
I just don't go off on these tangents of quoting movies.
Oh, come on with us. Come join us.
I think it's a guy thing.
Mm-hmm, I do
think
too.
it's a guy thing. 1997, Garth Brooks put on a free concert in Central Park. Drew between 250,000 and 750,000
Legendary
fans. Legendary.
That's quite a difference, but the numbers are staggering no matter what it really is.
The police estimated 250. The promoters said 750.
Oh.
I wonder why. 2005, Mark Cohn, the guy behind Walking in Memphis.
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that song?
Yeah.
Put on my blue suede shoes. Was shot in the head
Oh, yeah.
by a guy trying to carjack his van in downtown Denver. He did not die. We know him from the song Walking in Memphis, but today's the day that he was shot.
I didn't know. I don't recall that story.
I remember, but
Shocking.
I didn't remember if he lived or died.
No, he's still alive. He was married to some news anchor. I'll have to look that up. Suzanne Vega?
Heidi Glaus?
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
In 2007, Barry Bonds broke Hank Aaron's home run record, 755, and still holds it to this day. Barry's 762 is tainted by steroids. Is that fair to say, Bob?
I think that at least many sports fans would agree with that statement.
That
You
it's
do
tainted?
not.
That it's tainted.
What do you
not?
I think what happened is what happened. I've kind of evolved over time. So, you're a flip-flopper. Well, kind of evolved because there are so many different eras in the game of baseball. It's been going on so long. I think it is fair to really measure the people of the steroid era more against themselves rather than other players like Hank Aaron and Willie Mays and those guys.
I think that's a good take on that. All right, coming up, we're going to talk to Rich Frankel with ABC and find out what these flock cameras are and why now they are in the news. I will say this, I just Googled to see if St. Louis has flock cameras, and yes, we do, and the surrounding suburbs are blanketed with flock safety automated license plate reader cameras. So more on that after a short break.
Stay connected with the Big 550 KTRS, streaming 24/7 online at KTRS.com or on the KTRS app. Powered by JBL Financial. Stream Straight Talk on Retirement every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Hey, St. Louis, temperatures are rising, and if your AC isn't blowing cold enough, trust the experts at AAA Home Services. For 56 years, they've been fixing it right the first time. Our expert technicians are qualified to work on any system with any issue. We can even perform your annual maintenance on your air conditioner before it gets too hot. And if you need an estimate on a new system, we can do that too. For 56 years, St. Louis has trusted AAA for heating and cooling, electrical, plumbing, and appliance repair needs. Call 636-397-3200. Online at AAASTL.com. Call AAA. We're on our way.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green. Online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Lang with Carter Pet Hospital, inviting you to join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. with the Animal Advice Show. We'll talk about everything regarding dogs, cats, and other domestic animals. We'll discuss nutrition, training, regular checkups, invite special guests, and of course, answer your questions. Join us every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. for the Animal Advice Show on the Big 550 KTRS, the Animal Talk of St. Louis.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
10 minutes before 4 o'clock on this Friday afternoon. Joe, how's traffic?
It's a couple problem spots here, Heidi. There's stop-and-go traffic in Lake St. Louis on 64 West. There's also 2 left lanes blocked in Bell Fountain Neighbors on 270 West, and traffic is stopped back to Bell Fountain Road. There's an accident blocking the left lane in Town and Country on 270 South just past 64, and traffic is stopped all the way back to Ladue Road. The right lane blocked in St. Charles on 70 West past 5th Street. There's stop-and-go traffic all the way back to 141 due to an accident. This traffic report is brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your single tickets now for Stages St. Louis. Take a trip back to the 40s and 50s with Guys and Dolls, which runs through August 23rd. Stages will wrap up this year with the incredible true story of Come From Away. Call 314-821-2407 or visit stagesstlouis.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Joe Davis on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, you've probably been reading or hearing a lot about flock cameras in the news, but what do you really know about them? Rich Frankel, former special agent in charge FBI, is joining us with everything we need to know about flock cameras. And Rich, I guess my first question is, do they only read the license plate, or are they getting more information than that?
Now, from what I understand, it's just the license plate. Now, from the license plate, of course, you can get, the registered owner. But you actually don't even get a picture, from what I understand, of most of the flock cameras of the operator of the car. It's just it's just basically an LPR with AI. In other words, what it does is it will take that information, and if there's other information regarding that plate, it may combine it if that's requested by the by a law enforcement agency or under subpoena for some reason.
Rich, if I may. Without being asked, speak for libertarians out there. Did we vote for this?
You did not. Well, actually, I have no idea if you voted for it. But what the way this normally comes about is it's either a law enforcement agency or a municipality that contracts with Flock for your particular municipality, or it could be the mall, it could be your arena, it could be the airport, it could be all those different locations, and each one of those tends to be a separate contract with Flock. And what it comes down to is it's kind of on the municipality to a degree to make sure that they put all the proper protocols in place, because if they do that, it actually is pretty hard to get that information.
And in case people haven't been paying attention, why are these cameras back in the news?
Well, there was several cases, but the main case that's everyone's been talking about is out in North Carolina, where there was a former law enforcement officer who was using that data to follow her former lover, partner, whatever you want to call it, and she was able to track where he was going and find out who he was now dating. And so, basically stalking, the former partner. And she used all that data from Flock without subpoena, without going through any of the protocols, basically was just able to go in on her own and get that information.
It's very interesting. I just got a text from a friend who actually works for the PD in Austin, and she said that they don't have them there, but they had cameras in smaller areas and were able to catch a group of teenagers shooting in Austin. So they're obviously pros to this.
Yeah, I actually am. I'll be quite frank. I'm a fan of this with the proper protocols in place, because this information has been used in organized crime cases, drug cases, homicides, shootings, just personal injury accidents, where people are leaving the scene. And so as long as, again, the municipality puts in basically like mandated search accountability, where you have to put a case number in, maybe you have to have your supervisor or sergeant sign off on it, that you verify whatever is in there by humans after it's reported by the AI. In other words, you just don't accept the AI data. That once you get that data, you go back to the camera and a human actually verifies the information. And then also you put data limits on it. How long are you going to keep it? Is it going to be 30, 60, 90 days? Are you going to be allowed to keep it with certain protocols in place if there's an active law enforcement investigation? So if you do all of those and you go through those protocols, I think Flock, and by the way, they're not the only company, but all of these type of LPR and data analytic collectors are very good for law enforcement, again, used properly.
But we don't have to worry about our exes tracking us using Flock. This is just for police and, officials, right?
It would be harder for, a civilian to do it because you don't have access to the Flock system unless somehow you were able to get your own contract, which I don't even know if that's available. Flock is normally contracted, again, whether it's through the municipality, law enforcement, or it could be a large private entity such as, Amazon or an arena, to make sure that whatever, their vehicles are doing are being utilized properly. And also, again, in arenas, just because of all the different possibilities that could happen, in the parking lots, et cetera, there.
obviously, what a lot of people are concerned about is the privacy concerns surrounding these cameras. But I feel like every house on my street has a Ring camera. How is that any different?
Yeah, the Ring cameras are contracted to the person controlling, in the house, and there are other protocols in place for that. But you're 100% right. There is so much data out there now that it's all starting to become a little big brotherish. But if again the protocols are there, it's good. But just let's remember Guthrie. The Guthrie case. If we had more of this, could we have been able to find Nancy Guthrie?
So true.
I don't know, but I will tell you that with all the LPR readers, all the Ring cameras in Tucson, they haven't been able to find her. So it's not 100%.
All right, Rich, we always appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
All right, Rich Frankel, ABC News. A couple of things that I need to make corrections on from this hour. Not corrections, though, but follow-up. 1.8 to 1.9 million Purple Hearts have been awarded.
Okay.
And Mark Cohen, walking to Memphis, was married to Elizabeth Vargas
from
2002 to 2014.
You were right.
Well, you
close.
said, she sings.
I said Suzanne Vega.
Yeah.
But
What is Tom's Diner?
Yeah. Is she the one that sings Luca?
Yes, that's
And
Tom's
I live
Diner.
on the second floor? That's Tom's Diner?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You know what I did know, though? Is that if you want your house painted or your deck stained, interior, exterior, anything that has to do with a paintbrush and your property, you give Mike Ruffino a call. Ruffino's Painting, ruffinospainting.com. And Heidi, you weren't here on Monday, but I told Bob this. I'm out at the Yacht Rock Bar on Sunday.
With his hat.
Of course.
I wore my hat this time because my wife
Your
allowed
captain
it.
hat,
Yeah.
in case people don't know.
My captain's hat. I look like Daryl Dragon.
Mhm.
And I walk
I think
in.
you look more like the skipper on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, okay. I'll take that too. I think that's better than the captain in Tennille. But I walk in and I hear from the back of the bar, "Hey, Josh!" And I look back and it's Mike Ruffino from Ruffino's Painting.
Oh.
So apparently we're friends. We have the similar taste in music, and we have similar taste in how good my deck looks after he came over and stained it. But he'll do residential, commercial, interiors, exterior, Ruffino's Painting. They do it all. Mike at ruffinospainting.com. You can call him 636-655-0820, ruffinospainting.com.
All right, somebody says those are two different songs, so we're going to have to look them up because I thought it was one. And then a couple other people, one joking, how dare these law enforcement use Flock and those fancy CB radios. Somebody else said Flock cameras don't work in St. Louis City because most cars don't have a license plate to begin with.
I was going to ask Rich if they can read the paper ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's hilarious.
You guys keep the text coming. We got more, including our happy hour. Mike Ward joins us to talk about a fantastic Chardonnay after this short break.
You're selling your home, and I want to buy it. This is Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I am ready to pay top dollar for your home. No contingencies, no inspections, no monkey business. I buy your home no matter the condition or location, and you walk away with cash. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867, 314-283-0867, or at robankproperties.com. That's ROBANG properties.com.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Department of Homeland Security says while it promised to equip each enforcement team with an officer wearing a body camera, it says it will review footage and will only release it when it's in the best interest of the agency. ABC's Luke Barr.
The body-worn camera policy was written in early 2025 and says that after a high-profile shooting or incident, a panel of individuals will review the footage and determine whether it be released.
Analysts were expecting a net gain of jobs last month. Instead, the Labor Department reports overall losses. Totals for June and May revised downward. ABC's Jim Ryan.
The consensus was for a net gain of 83,000 positions last month. Instead, the Labor Department has reported a loss of 23,000 jobs. The same report shows the no hire, no fire employment market still dominates. At 4.1%, the unemployment rate was essentially the same as the June figure, as was the number of unemployed Americans at 6.9 million.
Weather affecting air travel today with more than 1,400 flight cancellations, says FlightAware. Todd Blanche has just enough support to become the next Attorney General, with Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy saying that he'll vote for Blanche. ABC's Jay O'Brien at the Capitol.
Because Todd Blanche, in Cassidy's view, had served as the president's personal attorney, he could tell the president the truth, and he could push back on him in a private setting. I can tell you, it's the opposite characterization you often hear, particularly from Democrats of Todd Blanche, which is that the fact that he was the president's personal attorney ties him closer to the president's viewpoint and ties him closer to following direction from the president.
Wall Street indexes closed out their best week since April, with the S&P 500 setting a new record. The lower Labor Department jobs numbers for July signal that the Federal Reserve may not raise interest rates, prompting the buying of stocks today. Crude oil prices held at yesterday's lower levels. You're listening to ABC News.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
A New Mexico court has ordered Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, to pay $567 million to address children's mental health. Meta must pay, says New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres.
In view of the fact that they knew about these harms, that they were not forthcoming about the danger, they were not honest with parents and policymakers and families, not only in this state but around the world.
Settlement requires Meta to create educational material for parents and educators and to produce public service spots for media. Extreme heat evidence from ABC News chief meteorologist Ginger Z.
Lake Mead has hit their record low. That is that big reservoir outside of Las Vegas. They're also in Las Vegas at an extreme heat warning for the 9th day in a row. That will dry things out even more. We're going to stay with those warnings all the way through Sunday, at least. The heat advisories go up to Boise. Salt Lake City goes to 102 today, Palm Springs 109, and Phoenix 112.
Amanda Knox, convicted, later acquitted of murdering her roommate Meredith Kirscher in Italy 19 years ago, is performing comedy stand-up at an arts festival in Scotland today. Kirscher's sister launched an online petition against it. Knox's reaction?
I can't speak to what is or is not triggering to Meredith's family. What I can say is that I've never seen the kind of scrutiny and criticism pointed towards a wrongly accused man that I've seen pointed towards me.
Amanda Knox, the petition has got over 7,000 signatures. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Good afternoon. It's 91 degrees at 4:04. I'm David Solomon, KTRS St. Louis News, and here's what's happening. A campaign opposing a November ballot measure to reinstate Missouri's abortion ban has received a major donation. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg has donated $1.25 million to Stop the Ban, a group formed to oppose Amendment 3. Stop the Ban has raised more than $6.5 million to date this year. On the other side of the issue, the Her Health, Her Future PAC has raised just more than $1 million this year as of this week. That group is backed by Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe, whose wife Claudia serves as treasurer. A bill introduced by U.S. Senator Josh Hawley to hold the U.S. Postal Service accountable before its leadership receives bonuses has cleared an important hurdle. KTRS's Vicki Pimentel has more.
After a hearing earlier this week, the No Bonuses for Bad Service Act passed out of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee on Thursday in an overwhelming bipartisan vote. Senator Hawley has demanded more accountability from the Postmaster General after an investigation into the USPS's delivery record in Missouri. There has been intense lobbying by the Postmaster General to kill the effort to restrict those bonuses, including his own. Hawley says the bill would prohibit postal leadership from receiving bonuses or additional compensation until mail service and delivery meet an on-time rate of 95%. Vicki Pimentel, KTRS News.
A Southern Illinois soldier who went missing during the Korean War will be laid to rest this weekend. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
U.S. Army Corporal Jackie Lee Thurman enlisted in the military when he was just 15 years old, lying about his age to serve his country. Thurman went missing in action on September 3rd of 1950 at just 18 years old while attempting to aid another soldier. Thurman's body was recovered years later but could not be identified. In 2022, his remains were exhumed as part of a renewed military effort to identify unknown casualties from the Korean War. In May, his family finally received the answer they waited a lifetime for, that Thurman had been positively identified. Thurman's funeral is scheduled this Saturday in North City, Illinois. He will be laid to rest right next to his mother, who never gave up hope that he would make it home. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
Missouri's 2026 back-to-school tax-free weekend kicked off today. Qualifying items, including clothing up to $100, school supplies, and computers up to $1,500, are all exempt from all state and local sales taxes. The tax-free weekend runs through Sunday. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. An Italian pasta maker connected to the St. Louis World's Fair plans to open its first-ever U.S. location in St. Charles. Bertagni plans to open a plant at the former TNT Crust facility off Milestone Parkway. The agreement is expected to bring 150 jobs and close to $36 million to the city. Bertagni's pasta recipe received a gold medal at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. Let's take a look now at the closing markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 151 points, closing at 54,063. The NASDAQ gained 342 points to close at 26,690. And as Chuck Severson said on ABC News, the S&P 500 rose 47 points to close at a record high of 7,757. KTRS News Time is 4:08. Let's head over now to Joe Davis. He is at the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk.
The Cardinals have claimed outfielder Everson Pereira off waivers from the Chicago White Sox. Pereira is a former top 100 prospect who's played for the Yankees and Rays, but is still only 25 years old. Senator Eric Schmidt introduced a resolution on the Senate floor yesterday that would recognize the 1960 Mizzou football team as national champions. That particular Tiger squad would go 11-0 and win the Orange Bowl over Navy. I'm Joe Davis for the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. Slow traffic on 64 West between Kings Highway and Clayton Skinker. There's road construction on 5570 West between 255 and Illinois 111, causing slow traffic. Expect delays up to 20 minutes. There's an accident blocking the left lane in Town and Country on 270 South, just past 64. Traffic is stopped all the way back to Ladue Road. There is heavy and slow-moving traffic in Lake St. Louis on 64 West between 364 and 70. This traffic report is brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your single tickets now for Stages St. Louis. Take a trip back to the 40s and 50s with Guys and Dolls, which runs through August 23rd. Stages will wrap up the year with the incredible true story of Come From Away. Call 314-821-2407 or visit stagesstlouis.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Joe Davis on the Big 550 KTRS.
And in that KTRS First Alert forecast, partly cloudy tonight. We'll have an overnight low around 72. Sunny tomorrow with highs near 90. Heat indices approaching 100. Mostly clear tomorrow night with a low around 73. And then Sunday is a First Alert weather day due to the heat. Sunny skies, highs near 93. Heat indices topping 105. We have fair skies, 91 degrees, and a heat index of 97 at the KTRS studios in Maryland Heights underneath the Gold Tower at Westport Plaza at 410. I'm David Solomon, KTRS News on the Talk of St. Louis.
Are you looking for a deck? I am. And you know who I turn to? Outdoor Living and Pat Leahy. They've been a sponsor for a long time, and they've done some other projects for me, but this one's the big one. It's going to have metal framing, composite decking, and when it's all said and done, he's going to put a 50-year warranty on it. Not because I'm his spokesperson for all these years, but because I am a customer. Outdoor Living takes care of St. Louis, so if you're looking for a deck that will survive the heat and the winter and the sun and everything else, Outdoor Living, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. Outdoor Living, or OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Headlines for this Friday afternoon, August 7th. And Josh, this one's for you. New Big Backyard Bash Festival brings giant inflatables and family fun to St. Charles. Big Backyard Bash is the brainchild of Casey Crew, who explained to St. Louis Magazine, we have county fairs, we have our state fair, we have carnivals, but I wanted to bring something a little different to families in St. Charles and St. Louis. She's the founder of the St. Charles-based Beldine Events, and for her, who's raising 4 kids between the ages of 8 and 18, one of the biggest goals was to create an event where both parents and kids of multiple ages would be entertained. So what you're going to find will be dozens of attractions spread across the grounds, including more than 30 giant inflatables, rock climbing walls, a mechanical bull, foam parties, water slides, obstacle courses, and a 4-person bungee trampoline. Among the biggest draws is Jelly Ball, which she describes as a cross between Nerf, laser tag, and paintball. Players use gel-filled blasters in an arena filled with inflatable barriers, creating the excitement of paintball, but without the sting, which should be fun. The festival also revives some old-school family favorites. Throughout the weekend, guests can participate in relay races, 3-legged races, potato sack races, and other friendly competitions designed for multiple generations, which I kind of love. Let's go old school. When it's time to take a break, visitors can browse from more than 75 local vendors showcasing everything from handmade goods to skincare products, as well as pet services, home improvement companies, demonstrations from local artisans. More than a dozen food trucks will offer all sorts of things to eat, and there will be live music. This sounds like a fun weekend. No details on what the tickets cost, but the new festival will make its debut August 29th and 30th at the Steel Shop in St. Charles.
Josh, hopefully it'll be yacht rock on the live music.
Okay, that'll be good.
Do any live musicians do yacht rock?
Yeah. I saw one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The Portholes.
That's right.
Yeah. And I told you guys on Monday, if Heidi was in town, she was out of town over the weekend, they played Lafayette Square.
Yeah, I know.
Last Saturday. She was out of town. All right. Before Bob's story, you mentioned the 3-legged race.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a video on Instagram. And maybe I need to be part of this Facebook lawsuit. Because I get stuck on the
I think we all do.
It was a sack race. Potato sack race.
Yeah.
And one of the kids didn't hop. He kind of ran as fast as he could.
Oh, his little leg, he could create the space and shuffle.
He could create the space to shuffle, and he won by, a
landslide.
A landslide.
Smart kid.
But I don't.
You
I
think
think
he's
that's
cheating?
Well,
That's
then you
cheating,
shuffle.
right? Do they give you the bag and say get in it and no
Go.
matter how, and go, or is the rule you have to hop?
I'm not sure. There is the sack race league office.
Yeah, where's the book?
I give the kid credit.
I do too.
Who's Abner Doubleday? Is there an Abner Doubleday of
Well, it's
sack
potato
races?
sack races. Somebody in Idaho clearly is the commissioner.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm the animal guy. 2 animal stories. One, Heidi, you'll freak.
Okay.
The other one we'll all applaud.
Must be a snake.
Oh.
Tom Rahill captured 96 Burmese pythons in 10 days.
No, what is wrong with this person?
No, he's doing it. It's a good thing. It's the 2026 Florida Python Challenge. he was the ultimate prize winner. He got $10,000.
I don't care how much they're paying me. It could be $10 million. I'm not doing it.
But you might be more likely to go to Florida if they keep doing this.
Well, that's true.
Because
these are native species?
No, they're not. That's the problem. They're an invasive species. And they're from Southeast Asia. They've devastated native wildlife in Florida.
How did they get there? Somebody brought it as a pet and they've just multiplied?
Who knows? But
they were given awards or reward money.
$10,000, he just said.
He just won $10,000 in that contest.
Yeah, but like per head.
Yeah, for hunting. But the predators have created declines: raccoons, opossums, bobcats, foxes, rabbits.
Heidi's.
Mm-hmm. Let me
She's
tell
not
you,
coming.
there was something on the Today Show this morning, and I don't know where this python was, but, well, I mean, I don't know what state it was or what country it was, but it was underneath a house. They had to remove planks to get it. And when they did, you just saw this massive bump in it.
What did it eat?
A possum.
Oh.
I mean, you just saw the whole, I mean, it was like in one big gulp.
Well, what would you rather have underneath your house?
You know I'd rather have a possum.
Yeah. And the lady in charge of the whole deal said the elimination of even one python is a win for Florida native wildlife.
I agree.
And Heidi agrees. And then real quickly, this guy, have you heard of people sniffing cans of air?
I mean,
to get
back in grade school, some people sniffed paint.
No, this is let me.
In the movie Spaceballs, they were sniffing cans of air.
Okay.
Was the plot device.
Anyway, this guy was impaired. They said they saw that this gentleman. They finally got him to stop and pull over. And they were communicating with the driver, but he refused to comply. And he was inhaling compressed air cans.
Yeah, that's like whippets.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. later.
Anyway, after multiple warnings and 40 minutes, so they didn't rush this guy. They let the canines go. Right through the side window.
Oh, my goodness.
No surprise to the ending. He gave up.
Yeah, smart.
And went to jail.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
anyway, the canines came through. I'm glad
Man.
to see it.
It's stuck in a car with a couple of cans of air and
a few Dobermans.
2 canines.
No, thank you.
All right, Bob, you're in Jefferson County, right?
Yeah.
The Jefferson County clerk vote on Tuesday came down to 3 people. Jacqueline Rybold got 33% of the vote. Brent Myers for county clerk also received 33% of the vote. And Steve Wyatt Earp also received 33% of the vote. Now, obviously, it was fractions, and the vote totals were more like 8,625 to 8,500 to 8,400. But it was the first 3-way race that they've seen in Jefferson County.
Who won?
The person who won was Jacqueline Rybold with 33.71% of the vote.
I'm sure Jacqueline will be a fine clerk. I obviously had to vote for Wyatt Earp.
Just because of the name?
I had to.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see it on there,
You had to do it.
I wish I could vote for Wyatt Earp.
Yeah. So I'm sure Ms. Rybold will do a great job
She's
for us.
expected to win, but either candidate, since it's less than 1%, could request a hand recount. But a 3-way race, and they all 3 got 33% of the vote. That was a close one. When they say every vote counts, it really does.
Yeah, you know what I have been lucky to find out is when I've gotten my taxes back over the last couple years, I don't need a recount because Jeff Sufal at Capital Advisory Group, he has gotten me more money back than ever before when I was working with somebody else. It's amazing. Actually, Marcia said, "Are we sure this is right?" Because we thought we were getting too much back.
Too good.
Josh, you missed the big announcement yesterday, but we have a new monthly feature here on the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey, the Wealth Zone. It is going to be so much fun, and what we're going to do is keep you informed. I mean, Jeff, as you guys already know, is the senior tax strategist and wealth advisor with Capital Advisory Group. He's also the author of 2 bestsellers, Keep What's Yours, and the newer book, Keeping What's Yours. And Capital Advisory Group helps small business owners and individuals stop overpaying taxes. If you know better, you do better. That's what Oprah said a long time ago, and that's what Jeff Zufall is trying to do. So here on the Wealth Zone with Jeff Zufall, a Capital Advisory Group, we're going to be talking about all of the things financial, especially how your tax strategy is at the core of your wealth plan. A lot of people forget that, but we're going to remind you once a week, or once a month, I should say, here on the Wealth Zone. It's going to be Select Mondays at 3:50. It's something that you don't want to miss. And of course, if you are looking for somebody to help with your tax and wealth strategy, Capital Advisory Group is great. I mean, Jeff and the entire team are fantastic. And you can reach them at 636-394-5524 or online at capitaladvisorygrp.com.
Guess where I was today?
Were you at Capital Advisory?
I was.
How great is that?
He's finally listening to us, Heidi.
It only took 2 years for me to listen.
Well,
but
you will
I
never
finally have.
turn away.
That's right.
All right, Mike Ward's with us after a short break.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Zippers Up. I'm getting ready to MC the Mater Media Speaker Series. Woo, we're bringing in some big names: Bill O'Reilly, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, John O'Leary, other national personalities. We're going to be at the J. Scheidegger Center for the Arts, Lindenwood University, beginning in September. Go to matermedia.org. That's MATERMEDIA.org. Early bird pricing going on now. Don't wait. Tickets are going fast.
It's hot out. But nothing can be hotter this summer than a Dogtown pizza. Hey, Josh here, and we're talking 425 degrees hot. 12 different varieties and a whole bunch of fresh toppings. Try the bacon, the 4-meat, or head to the garden for a veggie or tomato basil garlic. Oh, you want to get hot? Try the hot chicken pizza on for size. Sizzling. This summer's already hot, but make it even hotter with some Dogtown Pizza. Every local grocery store in town and at dogtownpizza.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah, and now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news! Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
Are you or a family member needing to sell your home? Then call me, Mike Robinson with Robank Properties. I will buy your home in any condition and always as is. Call me at 314-283-0867. That's 314-283-0867. No contingencies, no inspections, just cold hard cash. I'll save you time and money. So make that call now and let me buy your house. RobankProperties.com. That's ROBANG Properties.com.
The Frank and Jill Show.
Hi, this is Frank Cusimano from The Frank and Jill Show. Join us for Monday's program at 10 o'clock. What a guest list. The Hall of Famer, Kenny Wallace, will join us as we talk about the Enjoy Illinois 300. He is a NASCAR legend. And also, speaking of legends, Mike Bush, in his final week at Channel 5, will stop by for a visit. That's The Frank and Jill Show on Monday at 10 o'clock.
Frank Cusimano and Jill Farmer, weekdays 10 to noon, right here on KTRS, the talk of St. Louis. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, we are always excited for our happy hour here with Mike Ward, but maybe even more so today because we're featuring one of America's premier wine brands. It is great to have you back in studio. Before we get to the wines, how was your river cruise?
Well, it was fantastic. It's great to be back. What a great cruise. Thank you, Altair Travel, Angie, Haley. The gang over at Altair put together this great trip for us and about 20 people from St. Louis. Everybody had a great time. The river was really low.
I just saw something about so low that they're actually seeing some warships being uncovered from World War II.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I mean, you can tell. It's the first time I've ever seen the Danube, but you can tell when you're standing on the side of it or standing in the boat, the boats weren't really moving a whole lot. That's a different story. They had to switch boats for us. And as we got further west, the river was higher. But you could really tell how low it actually was. And the people there talking about it, 30 years they haven't seen the river this low.
Drought.
Yeah.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But you had some good wine and some great beer.
We had some fantastic beer and really exceptionally great wine. The wines made in Austria and Hungary are, I always knew they were good. Wow, they were just fantastic.
Well, and we're going to talk more about that this Sunday at 6 o'clock on Uncorked with Word on Wine and Heidi Glaus. But today, we're talking about Chardonnays. And these luxury estate-driven California Chardonnays, where are they coming from?
So this is a brand I've known forever, and I've always wanted to feature them on the show, and we're fortunate enough to have them as a sponsor. It's called Sonoma-Cutrer. And, you know, I love Chardonnay. I don't drink it. Full disclosure, it's not like my first thing that I open. To me, it's very food specific.
Okay.
But I do love it. But what I like to talk about with a wine like this is they're kind of the benchmark
and
Chardonnay.
What makes them the benchmark? Because I was reading that, and I wasn't familiar with Sonoma-Cutrer, but they have something in common. We were both introduced to this world in 1973.
Oh, yeah.
How about that?
That's a good connection.
That's how long they've been around. I don't know why I don't know more.
Well, think about if 1973 and a lot of great things were happening that year, clearly.
Obviously.
And in California, this is 3 years before the famous Judgment of Paris. And the Judgment of Paris happened in 1976, and I'll bring this back to why I'm bringing this up. But that's the first time that California wines, both Chardonnays and Cabernets, were entered into a world renowned competition in France, and they'd never been in that competition before, and they won a lot of prizes and awards in that competition, blind tasting, of course, and they were up against French wines. And it was very controversial at the time, and there's a new book about it, and I would imagine that most people that weren't wine nerds like me would maybe not think it's that exciting, but it was really exciting for the industry. So at that time, these folks in Sonoma, they go from making Chardonnay and trying to sell them locally, maybe in San Francisco, maybe we can get in a few restaurants, and all of a sudden, the world reaches out to California because now you see all these write-ups about California Chardonnay and Cabernet Sauvignon, and it really changed everything. It transformed the whole region.
And so they really elevated the status of domestic wine.
Yeah, they really did, and got it interesting. You know, people were reading about it, and hey, let's try these wines. Now, Sonoma-Cutrer was not entered into that, but they were certainly affected by that competition.
And so what does this winemaker do differently?
Well, their brand recognition is, and we can talk about the three wines that we have here, but if you kind of reference Chardonnay and think of it as a Burgundian style, and does that mean anything to you? Okay.
From the area, Burgundy.
Right, from
France.
Burgundy. That's where Chardonnay is from. Pinot Noir, Chardonnay. Been growing it there for 1,000 years. The grapes come from there.
Is it a blend then?
It's not. It's a single grape variety.
Okay.
But the blend part of it is the use of oak barrels, French oak, of course. And I say of course because French oak is good for wine, American oak is good for whiskey.
Oh.
There's differences
reminder.
with that, but just in general. So the use of new and used French oak barrels will bring in some aromas and flavors that you would be looking for these wines. Now, Chardonnay itself versus, say, Pinot Grigio or Sauvignon Blanc, that's a grape that's big enough to handle an oak barrel, where some of those other lighter white wines would just kind of, be overpowered by the oak.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes wines like Sonoma-Cutrer, they really used oak in California Chardonnay and sort of invented that California style versus the Burgundian style.
Can you go back to why to you Chardonnay is food specific, and what specific foods do you think go with this Sonoma-Cutrer?
So I because it's a little bit creamy, buttery, has a little those kind of notes along with the fruit. To me, it's a great pasta wine. Now, not pasta with red sauce,
white sauce.
Pasta with white sauce, chicken Alfredo, seafood.
Yeah.
Anything that you might be adding, just think of you're preparing the dish and it asks for a little bit of cream or that type of cream sauce or cream in the cooking
Then this
presentation.
Chardonnay goes with that.
Chardonnay's perfect. Or like a shellfish, so lobster, crab, even shrimp.
Okay, so let's talk about the differences because we have 3 wines here. And let's start with the La Pierre
Chardonnay. And right there, it sounds French, and it's not a French wine. It just means the rocks. And it's referencing the rocks in the vineyard where these grapes are grown. And it's
somebody got
old,
so mad plowing the field of all the rocks. They said, "Oh man,
just plant some grapes there." And grapevines love to grow in rocks.
Really,
they love rocks.
And explain why, because we've talked about this on our other show. But why do grapevines love rocks?
Very quickly, and I'll come back around to it. When we were driving through the Czech Republic to get to Prague, we were driving past cornfields and probably other crops, no vineyards, and we had just left Vienna where there were more rocks, and that's where the vineyards were. So corn likes to grow in fertile soil. We know where corn grows. We see it all over the place. But vines like to grow in rocks where there's less water, and the roots grow deeper looking for water. And so that's the perfect environment for quality wine because it makes them work harder on the grapes that they're growing. So when you see a wine called the rocks, and the vines are grown in those rocks, it tells you that the quality's there.
Thank you. That is interesting.
Is that okay? Good. I'm glad it makes sense.
La Pierre.
Yeah.
I just realized that Pierre is French for rock.
Which is what he was just saying.
It's the rocks, yeah. And that's what you find in Macon and Burgundy, too, is rocks.
Every time I look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I'm going to say Pierre.
There's also Pete.
Love it.
For Peter.
Okay.
For Church on the Rock.
How about this?
It's all connected.
Is
it? It's all connected.
Let's talk about the other 2. And Russian River Ranches, is that the place?
It is. And so the easiest thing about these wines, Sonoma-Cutrer was a family name of the original owner.
Okay.
Sonoma is the place. Obviously Sonoma and Napa, they're next to each other. Sonoma's on the coastal side, and then there's a mountain that separates Sonoma and Napa. So I love this brand because you know right where it comes from, and that is Sonoma County. Sonoma County is a great place for Chardonnay, and the coast, it's nice, cool climate, so Sonoma Coast comes along the coast, but then right in the middle of Sonoma, coming from the coast inland, is the Russian River. And so the Russian River, as you follow it along, it eventually makes a turn, but as you follow that along, going right from the coast, provides a cool climate internally in Sonoma. So you can plant Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, which like to grow in that environment, and it's an AVA, American Viticultural Area. So when you see Russian River, that is the AVA in Sonoma.
Okay. And then when it says grower Vintner, it means it's all grown there and made there?
Yeah, and that's an important note on the label. And yes, these wines aren't expensive, but it does raise the cost a little bit, as well as the French oak does as well. They own their vineyards, and they control what happens in the vineyards.
Got it.
Which is important. And it's not really, a deal breaker. A lot of wineries buy fruit. Certainly, that's something that's done a lot, more than we even know. but it's nice. It's always nice for me to see when somebody has control over their own vineyards.
And these are wines that you will find everywhere.
Everywhere.
I mean, every
Yeah.
grocery store, every wine shop, right?
I've been walking past them for years thinking someday I'm going to have those on the show.
And here we are.
Here we are.
What's the third one? Is that a Chardonnay as well?
So the Sonoma Coast Chardonnay, and that's people are going to find about $20.
Okay.
And the La Pierre and the Russian River Ranches, those are the three different Chardonnays. Those are a little bit more, closer to $30.
Okay.
Now, this is a key point, and you guys were talking about this earlier. These wines should not be ice cold.
What temperature should they be?
40, 45 degrees. Actually, if you look it up, Pinot Noir, a red wine, and Chardonnay, it's suggested they're served at the same temperature, which is around 50 degrees.
Oh.
But I think most people would like their, especially when it's hot out, they're going to like their white wines a little bit colder.
So
that makes
take it
sense.
out of the fridge and let it sit for a second before you pour it? Is that, I mean, it should be refrigerated.
Certainly, yes. But anybody listening is thinking, I only drink cold wine, I'm in the wine business. I want you to enjoy it, drink it cold. But I
Yeah.
will tell you that maybe pour a little bit in another glass. Let it warm up and taste it, and you're going to notice the difference. I don't care if it's the first time you ever had wine. You're going to notice the difference. So just try it when it's a little bit warmer, certainly not room temperature.
Got it. And so when we're talking about Sonoma Cutrer, do they make any reds or they just focus on white wines?
They do a Pinot Noir. Now, that's a little bit harder to find, and they do a Sauvignon Blanc as well. Chardonnay is kind of what their bread and butter, so to speak. Yeah. And what they're known for, but they do some reds. And I think anybody that's thinking, well, I'm not a Chardonnay fan, just give it a try.
And
because
that's me. I'm not. I am usually a deep, bold, spicy red, but I am going to open up one of these this weekend and try it.
Heidi, you are my wine leader,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I have the same wine taste as you. I mean, exactly. But if you try the Chardonnay, I'll try the Chardonnay.
All right, that's what we're going to do.
have some cheese or something.
You don't have to tell me
Have
twice.
some cheese.
Yeah.
It goes great with first courses and salads and all kinds of different things. If you're on a steak on the grill, well, okay, start with this and then have
And
some
go to
Cabernet
red.
later. But it's such a great wine. It is. I kind of wish we were talking about this right before Thanksgiving because
Oh.
this would be
Well, we'll remind people.
the perfect Thanksgiving wine.
Okay. And if people want more information about this wine or any wine, they can always email you at
Mike at wardonwine.com and send me an email because I just launched a new education series that I will send you a little icon that you can click in and get a couple of free modules that I just made with some other folks. It's called Cork and Cask Academy. And so that's
Oh.
just launched right before we left for Europe. We'll talk about it more on future shows, but it's fun and educational if you want to learn a little bit more about the wines that you're having, or maybe you want to learn more about whiskey or tequila. We cover it all.
All right. As we do here on the show every Friday, and of course, Sunday nights at 6 when you're listening to Uncorked with Ward on Wine and Heidi Glaus. Mike, cheers to you.
Cheers.
All right, it's about 4:40, and we need to get another check of traffic with Joe Davis today.
Yes, Heidi, we have a couple of problem spots here. There's a right lane blocked in St. Charles on 70 West just past 5th Street due to an accident. There is stop-and-go traffic on 44 West between Bowles Avenue and 141. And there is an accident that is blocking the left lane in Wentzville on 70 eastbound at Wentzville Parkway. There's also slow-moving traffic on 64 West between Kings Highway and Clayton Skinker. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rack House in Cottleville. Stop by for brunch or happy hour, or have the Rack House cater your next event with box lunches or buffets to accommodate groups of 10 to 200 people. The Rack House, featuring a seasonal menu with upscale casual dining and drinks since 2014. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Joe Davis on the Big 550 KTRS.
The war in Iran has depleted stocks of our key air defense weapons. Lieutenant General Richard Newton, News Nation senior national security contributor, joins us to share what he knows. Thanks for making time for us.
Heidi, good afternoon. Always good to be with you.
So what exactly is in short supply?
Well, reportedly in the media, let me first back up. When I served on active duty, one of my positions I had was on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I oversaw global operations, and a number of capabilities I had in my portfolio was military force readiness, which oversaw the status of our weapons and munitions stockpile, et cetera. And so from an informed perspective on this, what we are in media, and I'm not going to verify that, frankly, because I don't think really a lot of this conversation ought to be in the open media because of the sensitive and classified nature of that. But nonetheless, what we're facing right now is reportedly approaching a shortage of principally both offensive and defensive weapons. The defensive ones that we've heard about exclusively in the press are the Patriot air defense missiles, the THAAD, which is the Army's terminal high altitude air defense missiles, and so forth, and perhaps also offensive weapon systems such as Tomahawk cruise missiles that have done such exceptional work, not only in this campaign but previous campaigns as well.
General Newton, I simplify this for me. So we shoot off missiles, so we're going to run low. Why are we not just making more? I know Arkansas, I think, makes ordnance, and I'm sure it's all over the country. Is it as simple as the president and the Pentagon saying, hey, let's ramp this up, let's make more?
It's a challenge, and it's a great question. With regard to the acquisition process and the manufacturing, I'll give you an example. These are such high-end, exquisite, highly capable weapon systems, such as, and let's just take the Patriot missile, for instance. The most advanced variant of that is the PAC-3. It takes 24 months to build that thing because of the high-end technology. Not only to build it from beginning to scratch, but you got to go out and test it on our ranges and so forth.
Oh, wow.
They're at a cost of $4 million. So the good news is we've got the absolute best in the world defensive capabilities, and we want that for certainly our men and women in uniform and our allies as well. The downside is it takes a long time. Now, just today, the Deputy Secretary of War, Steve Feinberg, called for a meeting in the Pentagon. There's been a number of these meetings. I've attended these several years or so ago to compel both our military leaders as well as our defense acquisition officials to streamline that process. And I mean, instead of 2 years, let's get this in terms of months. Part of the challenge, in my experience, is that we have, as a warfighter, we want every exquisite capability we can possibly, get into this weapon system because we want the best for our men and women in uniform. But do we need that 99.9% capability? Can we be satisfied with just maybe 95 to 98%? I just use that as an example. And I think that's what they're looking at here. And that will streamline the process. Final point is the best model for us and the lessons learned we're achieving right now is really from the war in Ukraine and what the Ukrainian military has been able to do. They had the same conundrum in terms of building drones and other capabilities in terms of developing those within years, but they determined an acquisition and really their industrial base has been able to now produce these drones in matters of weeks, or months. And so now a drone and a Patriot missile is not the same thing. There's much more complexity with the Patriot, obviously, but there's a lessons learned that I think we're going to get to the bottom line here. I think we're going to solve this. But right now, we're not risk in terms of U.S. Central Command Admiral Cooper-led command going after Iran if we go into major combat operations. But the risk we could be entering is around the world, say in Europe, with Russia still, pounding Ukraine, in China, how to deter China from invading Taiwan and so forth.
General, tell me where the disconnect lies, because I feel like this is not a major incursion that we've got going on in Iran, yet there's reports that we're running out of munitions. And are we using $4 million missiles to shoot down $30 drones?
Well, I wouldn't quite go $4 million to $30, but you have to. But I'll take your point of your question is you're right, and that's part of the defense industrial base, the Boeings, Raytheons, Lockheed Martins, and others who are obviously taking a look at the cost versus the threat. And the nature of warfare is changing, and we're in the midst of seeing that change. However, I take a little bit of issue with your question with regard. This is absolutely major combat operations undergone, particularly when we kicked off Operation Epic Fury on the 28th of February. Not only with U.S. forces, but with the Israeli forces going against, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps-led Iran right now. So I believe that I think it's a worthy effort. That if the president calls for going after and hitting the regime even harder, but it will take a very strong stable of military capabilities. Certainly, our men and women in uniform are the best and brightest, in my opinion, of any generation. But we need to put in their hands, as the warfighters, the absolute best that not only we can afford, but we can get to the warfighter as soon as we possibly can. That's the dilemma. And that's what we're in the middle of, that transformation. It just so happens that we're in the middle of a major conflict right now to force us to go into this transformation. Will we get there? Yes. But we're still several months away, if not a year or so, in terms of streamlining that process.
We're talking
or
to
those processes.
Lieutenant General Richard Newton, News Nation senior national security contributor. Does our depleted supply play any role into when the conflict is paused?
I don't believe so. And again, This is just my informed opinion. I do not have access to the current intelligence and so forth. But however, my sources and so forth, I'll give you an informed opinion. And that is not in this particular situation, because I do firmly believe should President Trump approve a what would be even more major combat operation engagement than we saw kicked off in Epic 3 on February 28th, that, as I mentioned, Admiral Cooper will have every capability he needs. And I don't believe that had factored into this particular decision. However, the role of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, and Admiral Cooper, who is the combatant commander overseeing the Mideast, they do tell the president, though, they give him a range of options. And my experience in the White House Situation Room, here's how it goes. It says, here's option 1, 2, and 3, but here are the risks associated with that. And some of these risks may be associated with perhaps taking a more stern look in terms of how we're able to defend our forces with Patriots and THAADs, as well as what is the status of our Tomahawk cruise missiles. Mr. President, I may need more capabilities. I may need more weapons that have got to come from other theaters of operations, such as I mentioned earlier, Europe and the Pacific. So that's where the trades come in. And frankly, that's how they're to manage risk. And that's the job, by the way, of the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, to not only present to the president options that underscore or support his strategy and how he wants to move forward, but also, Mr. President, here are the risks.
Yeah. One final question. President Trump has threatened attacks on Iran that he has claimed would mirror the intensity of World War II if he's not satisfied with diplomatic settlement with them. Is that possible at this point? We have the ammunition to do that?
We do. We have, I believe, the weapons and the capabilities, and certainly the extraordinary men and women in uniform, as I mentioned earlier, Heidi. I would also say that with regard, and I would advise the president as part of whatever plan I would have, informed him on, to give strong consideration to include the Israelis, because they have a very formidable force, a particularly formidable air force. But comparing this to World War II, it's like the nature of warfare has changed so much, Heidi. Let me underscore one more point, though. It's not just the kinetic piece of this, the Tomahawk cruise missiles, the B-2 bombers, the GBU-57s, remember the 30,000 pounders we employed back on Midnight Hammer on June 22nd. It's also the non-kinetic piece. It's cyber warfare, offensive cyber warfare, that I think can play a very capable and leading role here. Final point on this. It also would deal with covert operations of using our intelligence community along with Mossad on the ground in very, very unique and special mission foray to also be part of this combat. You just can't compare the two generations between World War II and where we are now. But I think we're armed and ready to go. I would advise the president that diplomacy hasn't worked in the last 4 months. I don't see how we're going to trust this regime at any stretch to think that they're going to, abide by any document they're going to, supposedly sign. I think it's time to go back to major combat operations and get this thing done. That's my opinion.
Well, we appreciate your opinion. Lieutenant General Richard Newton, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Heidi. Great to be with you always. Cheers.
I feel so honored that he joins us. I mean,
Fantastic.
The knowledge and his entire resume is just crazy. I could talk to him all day long.
Yep.
It is 10 minutes before 5 o'clock, and we got to talk to Joe Davis, who's in the KTRS Traffic Center today.
Yes, Heidi, we have some stop-and-go traffic on 255 eastbound between Telegraph Road and Jefferson Barracks Bridge. There is heavy traffic in Lake St. Louis on 64 West between 364 and 70. And the left lane is blocked in Wentzville on 70 eastbound at Wentzville Parkway. Traffic is moving extremely slow. There's also slow-moving traffic on 64 West between Kings Highway and Clayton Skinker. This traffic report is brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your single tickets now for Stages St. Louis. Take a trip back to the 40s and 50s with Guys and Dolls, which runs through August 23rd. Stages will wrap up this year with the incredible true story of Come From Away. Call 314-821-2407 or visit stagesstlouis.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Joe Davis on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, the Cardinals were able to get 2 wins against the Yankees. KTRS Sports Director Brendan Weesey joins us to talk sports. And can what we're left with after the trade deadline, can we make the playoffs?
Yeah, the National League, the bottom end of the wild card race, I think, is still manageable for the Cardinals. I mean, it would take probably a pretty Herculean effort here the last couple of months, but it's not impossible. The starting pitching's been pretty good. It'd be nice to see the offense start to really consistently deliver. No Jordan Walker in the lineup again tonight, so that makes things a little more difficult if he's not in there. Obviously, he's been your best bat all year long, so that's a concern. But it's the Rockies. You'd love to be able to win all 3 this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Not impossible.
No, not at all. Where do we stand when it comes to City SC and the playoffs?
Well, they're in the playoffs as of right now, but they're not playing this week. The Leagues Cup break hits them, and since they've been pretty bad, they're not in recent years. They're not in the Leagues Cup this year, but that suits them just fine. Obviously, the big story with City right now is the status of their best player, Marcel Hartl, who might be on his way out, on his way to a Bundesliga 2 team, and it's tough. For American sports fans, we're used to going in and this is your team, this is your top priority. We're the best. MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL. These are the best leagues in the world. It's not the case for soccer. MLS is kind of middle of the pack, and if there's a situation for your player that might be better for them and ultimately might be better for your team, you have to potentially say goodbye to that player, and that's what City's looking at here. And nothing's official, but it sounds like it's just about a done deal. And Hartl is more than likely going to be gone, and it's a huge blow for a team that's playing their best soccer right now in the last couple of months, last 3 months really, before the World Cup break ever hit. And Hartl's been your best player, so this is going to be a tough pill to swallow if indeed it goes down. No official word, and there probably won't be official word for a few more days. I mean, there might be some, again, a lot of the reports from out of the country are indicating that this is happening, but nothing is done yet. And I think for City fans, what makes it all the more difficult is, again, unlike American sports, where okay, you're gonna move this guy. What's coming back? How many players are coming? There are no players coming back in return. Money will come back in return to City, and again, that can potentially help them maybe go out and get another player during this window. But this would be a very significant blow for their playoff hopes, which right now they are in. But man, I have a tough time believing they're gonna continue at this clip without Hartl.
So, Brennan, you follow the soccer, the MLS, quite a bit. Robert,
he's sports director,
right?
Okay.
But he's down, at the practice fields. Robert Lewandowski. This is a name from European soccer. Obviously, Messi. There's a bunch of other bigger names that people who pay attention to the sport over there.
Right.
These people are starting to come over here and play in MLS when they're older. Mo Salah from Egypt. He was rumored to be coming to MLS. He's
rumored
not.
to be going to Sporting, right? Yeah, it did not happen.
Did not happen. But are we going to be in the MLS? Are we going to be the last stop for the stars of Europe?
Yeah, I mean the MLS. Yes, for City, that's a far different question, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, if that means guys like Messi are coming here to play their final few years, and needless to say, he's still one of the best in the world, so that's worked out pretty well. And I think those kind of moves will continue to work out well. So, I mean, that's not a bad thing for MLS, but I think from when we see the league now shift to the global calendar, it's going to make things like this it'll happen less frequently. The problem is that Hanover team that he's going to go to potentially, they're just starting their next season. So they're trying to fill out their roster. This has got to happen right now, and it just so happens to be in the middle of City season. It's another reason, another box to check as to why the MLS is going to this new schedule. It's also not ideal, make no mistake about it, but they're trying to continue to compete with the rest of the world, and they think that will help.
Let's go to American football for a second. Mizzou football ranks 25th in one midseason poll. Is that the spot you'd put them at?
Yeah, I think that's about right. I actually think it's pretty telling that Mizzou is 25 because I think some folks would say they should be on the outside looking in, especially with all the players they lost on defense. I think it's pretty telling that nationally the respect level for Eli Drinkwitz continues to go up. You look at what he's done consistently the last few years. There are still parts of his resume that are incomplete. The big wins, obviously, he'll have plenty of opportunities for those this year, but consistency, stability, that has been a hallmark now for the last 3 years under Coach Eli Drinkwitz. And I think some of the coaches that vote in this poll, I think they gave him the benefit of the doubt and put him in there at number 25.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
What is this other story about the United States Senate, like in Washington, D.C.?
Kind of crazy, right? Eric Schmidt, our senator here from the state of Missouri.
Recognizing.
Got a great relationship, by the way, with Eli Drinkwitz. Drink singled him out by name last week during his opening press conference. He's working on this Save College Sports Act that might go to the Senate floor
Eric
here.
Schmidt's trying to get the Billikens into the Big East.
He is. There's Rammer can speak better on that.
But the U.S. Senate just named the Mizzou Tigers 1960 football team national champions.
Wait a minute, that just happened a few minutes ago? Because this is what he was on the Senate floor yesterday, and
they are recognizing the 1960 team as champions.
How can the Senate do that?
I don't know.
Not the NCAA or whoever is
the AP,
the governing body.
The USA Today.
For instance, the four of us could say we are recognizing, and so we recognize.
Well, what they did, so they did not. He made that speech yesterday on the Senate floor, and he said, we need to recognize the 1960 Tigers as national champions. Nobody objected. They haven't done anything where, like, okay, there's official. No legal standing here, but I think Eric Schmidt is trying to move this forward and for Mizzou to have a national championship that hasn't been recognized before. And again, he's going out there, whether everyone can agree to disagree with Eric Schmidt's politics, but he has been very involved when it comes to sports in this state. I think he's a great champion for professional and collegiate sports teams alike. And again, he's the Billikens could be his latest project to try to get them into the Big East.
Is that what it takes to get into a different? I'm so confused that we're mixing politics and athletics.
I think from his point of view, in terms of the Billikens, I think it's trying to twist a few arms and shake a couple hands and maybe find a way to do some backroom dealings. I'm not sure exactly what it will take, but we've heard SLU in the Big East for years, and it's never gotten done, and it feels like the perfect marriage. So if Eric Schmidt can somehow find a way to get it done, I'd be all for it.
And real quickly, that's what the team and the school wants?
That would be, there is no official standing. Officially, the university is delighted to be in the Atlantic 10, and it's a good league.
Okay. Thank you. Brendan, thank you. Have
Thanks,
a great
Heidi.
weekend. We'll
You
be
got it, you
back
too.
with more, including an interview with Ryan McClure, who's the executive director at Gateway Arch Park Foundation, and what they're doing with a couple of garages downtown.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. President Trump exceeded his authority when he set out to build a $400 million ballroom at the White House without Congress's approval, says a panel of judges at the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy in Washington.
The appeals court judges say work related to security can continue, but Congress must approve the ballroom itself. The panel's 2-1 decision has a pair of Obama and Biden-appointed judges blasting President Trump's decision to tear down the old East Wing, saying, quote, "We are aware of no instance in American history in which a president unilaterally and using privately collected funds demolished substantial portions of the White House that Congress authorized to be built and American taxpayers paid for."
President Trump says they'll appeal to the Supreme Court. This move could likely spark a court battle, says ABC's Peter Harlambous.
The White House this week notified Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook that the president was considering firing her and demanded she respond to unproven allegations that she committed mortgage fraud, sources told ABC News. Trump last year tried to remove Cook based on those unsubstantiated allegations, but the Supreme Court blocked him from immediately firing her because she wasn't given appropriate notice or an opportunity to respond.
Cook's lawyer calls the allegation baseless. New Jersey's Attorney General announcing subpoenas in a civil rights investigation of Delaney Hall in Newark, a private immigration detention facility owned and operated by the GEO Group. Deaths of 3 people in recent months were reported. Todd Blanche has just enough support to become the next Attorney General, with Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy saying that he'll vote for him.
All considered, I will vote for Mr. Blanche. I'll be criticized for this vote. What's new?
A helicopter helping battle a large Utah wildfire crashed today, says the Federal Aviation Administration, with no immediate word on the conditions of the 2 people aboard. Wall Street major indexes closed higher. You're listening to ABC News.
Here she comes. Surprise! They sent a duplicate shipment to your flower shop. Now you have to pay for 1,000 extra carnations. Also, there's a beehive outside your store, and they're super aggressive. There's thousands of them.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise, saving 10% or more on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, the egg salad you just ate was expired. Gross.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
A teenager accused of dressing as a clown and randomly stabbing a man to death at a bus stop in East St. Louis, Illinois, has been charged with murder, say state police. No word about why it happened. The teen will be detained until at least his next hearing in juvenile court. Spokesman for an Iranian parliament commission says the general framework of an agreement with Oman on the Strait of Hormuz has been finalized. Iran's previously said it would direct ships through an Iranian-controlled entrance and an exit controlled by Oman. A New Mexico judge says Meta, owner of Instagram and Facebook, helped fuel the state's child mental health crisis and must pay $567 million on top of a recent jury decision.
New Mexico's Attorney General is calling the court ruling against Meta historic, saying it changes a narrative around the world about the dangers that he says social media poses to children. He says they expect an appeal from Meta.
They have not shown any willingness to either accept responsibility for their conduct or concede that they have a role to play in fixing and addressing the harms that they created.
New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres is calling on all states to update outdated laws to rein in social media use by children. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Amid sometimes days-long blackouts in Cuba fueled by the oil blockade imposed by the Trump administration, Cubans are planning their lives around the brief periods when the juice is back on. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
Good afternoon. It's 90 degrees at 5:04. I'm David Solomon, KTRS St. Louis News, and here's what's happening now. Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has joined a 15-state coalition urging Congress to pass legislation to strengthen efforts to prosecute organized crime rings that are robbing ATMs across the nation. The Safe Access to Cash Act would close a loophole in federal law by covering ATM theft and destruction, as well as adding additional criminal penalties to ensure that off-premise ATMs in public settings are treated the same as ATMs at bank branches. Habitat for Humanity has announced plans to break ground on a 40-home development along Evans Avenue in the Vandeventer neighborhood. The project, which will be built on city-owned land, will receive $17 million in New Markets tax credits. Habitat CEO Kimberly McKinney tells the St. Louis Business Journal that the organization started having conversations with the St. Louis Development Corporation about the proposed project last year before a tornado struck North St. Louis on May 16th. McKinney says the tornado damaged or destroyed about 5,000 structures, further exacerbating the need for affordable housing. The first phase of construction, consisting of 10 to 15 homes, is expected to be complete in the second quarter of next year. In what could be the first partnership of its kind in the St. Louis region, the University of Missouri St. Louis and St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School are teaming up for a special program. KTRS's Vicki Pimentel has more.
UMSL's Vice Chancellor Reggie Hill and President of St. Mary's Mike England will sign a 3-year agreement between the schools next week. The agreement will include exclusive benefits for St. Mary's students looking to attend UMSL, as well as professional development opportunities for faculty and staff. It will provide UMSL education students with experience in classrooms at St. Mary's. There will be a streamlined admission process for St. Mary's students, as well as financial aid counseling and a minimum guaranteed merit scholarship of $5,200 for qualified St. Mary's students. For St. Mary's staff, there will be professional development opportunities and tuition discounts for career advancement pathways. Vicki Pimentel, KTRS News.
A new cross now stands outside of Gethsemane Lutheran Church in South St. Louis County. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
This comes after the original cross was vandalized on the front lawn of the church along the 700 block of Lee Mayferry Road early Wednesday morning. Police say the suspect first attempted to cut the cross down with a saw, then returned a few hours later with an axe and split the cross. The axe was left at the scene along with a handwritten note. Police have released surveillance video of the incident, which is available on the department's social media pages. Anyone with any information should contact St. Louis County Police. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Illinois is awarding another round of Regional Site Readiness Program grants. Governor J.B. Pritzker announced that a total of $35 million in grants will support site readiness activities at 22 sites across the state. The Regional Site Readiness Program prepares sites to attract future industrial investment and new job opportunities. To date, Illinois has awarded $115 million to support 63 projects across the land of Lincoln. Let's take a look now at the closing markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement every Saturday morning from 9 to 11. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 151 points to 54,063. The Nasdaq gained 342 points, closing at 26,690. And the S&P 500 gained 47 points for a record close of 7,757. KTRS News Time is 5:08. Let's head over to the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, where we find Joe Davis.
The Cardinals are back home tonight to play the Colorado Rockies at Busch. Kyle Leahy gets the ball for the Birds. SLU basketball has finalized its non-conference schedule for the upcoming season. The Billikens will open the year November 2nd with Lehigh and will ultimately play 5 teams that played in the NCAA tournament last year. I'm Joe Davis from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. There is slow traffic in Clayton on 170 South between Forest Park and 64. We have stopped traffic in Gray Summit on 44 westbound between Missouri 100 and Route O. There's a left lane blocked in Wentzville on 70 eastbound at Wentzville Parkway, and there is stop-and-go traffic in Lake St. Louis on 64 west between 364 and 70. This traffic report was brought to you by Fielder Electric. See what everyone is saying about the pros at Fielder Electric. Whether it's a new build or a 100-year-old home, Fielder Electric has you covered. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Joe Davis on the Big 550 KTRS.
And in your KTRS First Alert forecast, tonight you can expect partly cloudy skies with a low around 72. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 90 and heat indices approaching 100. Mostly clear tomorrow night with a low around 73 and sunny Sunday. It's a First Alert Weather Day Sunday, high near 93, heat indices reaching 105. It's mostly cloudy with 90 degrees and a heat index of 95 at the KTRS studios in Maryland Heights at 510. I'm David Solomon, KTRS News on the Talk of St. Louis.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
A St. Louis investor group that includes nonprofits and a local investment fund has purchased 2 parking garages that overlook Kiener Plaza. Ryan McClure, Executive Director at Gateway Arch Park Foundation, joins us with What's Next. Thanks for making time for us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Your foundation is part of this investor group. Are these garages currently being used?
Yes, they are. So the Kiener East and Kiener West garages are currently in use. They've been around since the 1960s. And this investment group that has purchased it, which is led by Arch Park Equity Fund and Gateway Arch Park Foundation, our organization is a minority investor in it. So this is a civic-minded group that's really has a goal of investing in and improving the experience of these garages.
So to give everybody an idea, Kiener Plaza West Garage once was home to the Hardys and Hooters. The other garage had Bread Company and Calico's. Are these spaces going to be revamped?
Part of the goal of the lead investment group is to revamp these retail spaces on the ground floor. So the hope would be that you're going to see activity in those spaces that have been long vacant. And that's what comes with it. Again, a civic-minded ownership group that really wants to see activity in these spaces.
So for those who could be geographically challenged like me sometimes, the one you're talking about was the old Stadium Garage North, correct?
No. Stadium East and Stadium West are different garages that are close to
closer to the stadium.
Close to Busch Stadium. These 2 garages are the ones that are directly north of the of Kiener Plaza.
Gotcha. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think
no problem.
Yeah, there was a Fridays in there at one point. Do you know, Ryan? I mean, you work down there. You've been part of the Arch Foundation for a long time. There's a Chase Bank where the Calicos used to be.
That's right.
When did all of the businesses kind of start clearing out of here? Is this something that probably happened when Ballpark Village opened?
No, I think that's unrelated. I believe that these spaces started clearing out sometime before COVID.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the pandemic
just finished
didn't help. Yeah, it didn't help at all. So, this is kind of a long trajectory for those retail spaces. And, again, the Arch Park Equity Fund, their goal is to, make sure that these garages are clean, safe. This is the first experience many folks have when they come to downtown St. Louis is one of these parking garages. And we want these parking garages to be an exemplary experience. And that means not only making them clean and safe, but filling those retail spaces with active tenants.
I'm glad you brought up clean and safe, and I agree with you. It's so important. All of us complain about parking.
Mm-hmm.
But and so if something is not clean and not safe, we'll avoid it and then avoid the opportunities to park by cleaning all this up. Not only does it give the city a wonderful option right there, but it's really for everybody for blocks around. This has got to be a win-win.
Absolutely. And it's clean, it's safe, it's the retail activation, but also a big part of this is taking those facades, those brutalist facades that face Kiener Plaza and making those active, potentially public art. Those are the types of things that we're looking at there And that becomes an attraction in and of itself. If you put yourself in the experience of going to Kiener Plaza, going to Winterfest, going to a concert in that space, and then right now you're just looking at these blank brutalist facades. Well, in the future, you'll be seeing activation of public art on those facades.
Ryan, how big are these garages? How many spaces are there?
Oh, gosh. I believe they're about 2,300 spaces between the two of them. So, I mean, it's a significant amount of parking spaces.
And you said brutalist. I'm looking at the map right now. These are ugly buildings. And we all know what they look like. And, you know.
They've been around for a while.
Long time.
I think when Clayton built the Pastaria, they built a parking garage and put some shimmery kind of thing on the front. When the wind blows, it shimmers. It made me realize you don't have to build a box parking garage. You can actually make the facade look a little better. When can we start to see some progress just on the looks of it?
Yeah, well, and you're absolutely right. This can be a much better experience and aesthetically pleasing to look at. And one interesting point, when we did public engagement and public input on the redesign of Kiener Plaza in 2013, the number one comment that we got was, please do something with these garages that makes them look better. And I think it's really interesting that 13 years later, we now have the opportunity to do that. And that's the type of thing that comes with, local civic-minded ownership.
Yeah, we're talking to Ryan McClure, Executive Director at Gateway Art
Court is
Foundation.
ordering
And you mentioned the update to Kiener Plaza. The city of St. Louis, you guys, and Great Rivers Greenway have partnered on this project. What's planned there?
So we're taking the great renovations that completed and opened in 2017, and just fixing it, making some tweaks on some things we've learned through the time of that being open. So, for example, the lawn that was kind of tiered and elevated, we found that doesn't work really well for everyday usage and programming. So we're flattening that lawn. And then we're adding more shade, which is really important in St. Louis summers, and adding more lighting. So they're just tweaks to the last redesign, and they're going to be great and should be completed in October in time for Winterfest to start in November.
That's fantastic. And then where does the demolition of the Millennium Hotel stand? I know that the bottom part has been knocked down, but where's the tower?
Yeah, so the tower, if you go to games at Busch Stadium, or you were one of the 40,000 fans like me that were at NoahCon on Sunday, you are seeing this tower come down game by game and event by event. So you may have seen we found the mechanism that rotated the restaurant.
Yeah.
And we took that out by crane and donated that to the City Museum.
That is
fantastic. It's a really cool partnership. So that'll be on display. They're creating that exhibit now.
That's awesome.
And that's some of the stuff we love to do, is just collaborative partnerships, especially in downtown St. Louis, of, again, civic-minded institutions that are just trying to create great experiences in downtown. So you will see the rest of the Millennium site clear by the end of next year.
Okay. And then remind people what's planned for that space.
So we are partnering with Cordish companies, the same developers that did that are in charge of Ballpark Village and Kansas City Power and Light. They're going to build a $670 million development there that is residential, Class A office space, park space, museum space, and just active spaces that will turn this site that's been vacant in downtown St. Louis for 11 years, 2 blocks, into an economic engine for St. Louis again.
It's so exciting.
And Ryan, I hate to be a broken record, but any more information on possibly capping over Highway 7044?
Well, you're not a broken record. It's something we have to keep talking about, right? So so by the beginning of next year, MoDOT and East West Gateway will start their traffic studies of the areas around downtown that need to be replaced in 15 years. So, the Poplar Street Bridge and the I-64 double-decker in downtown are going to need significant interventions in the next 15 years.
Ooh.
So what's really great, though, is that MoDOT and East West Gateway are going to study the I-44 corridor that still is a huge barrier between downtown and the riverfront. So let's study that at the same time. If we're going to make significant interventions in downtown, why don't we address that as well? And I'm just so grateful, and we are grateful as an organization that MoDOT, East West Gateway, and the city of St. Louis are really open to that concept.
Well, Ryan, we appreciate the update on all of this, and congratulations on everything that you guys are doing. Keep up the fantastic work, because we really appreciate it, and we need it.
Oh, gosh. Well, thank you all. We appreciate you and the opportunity to talk about these projects and what they can do for downtown. And again, we exist solely on the generosity of this community. We're a philanthropic organization. So if folks are inspired by this, just become a member and support Gateway Arch Park Foundation.
Oh, great reminder.
And come out to Blues at the Arch next weekend.
Will do.
Awesome.
Have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you all. Take care.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal, or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Hey, thanks, Farmer Dave. We didn't get the nickname the St. Louis Corvette Kings by accident. We've specialized in Corvettes for over 30 years, and I need more. You have one for sale, especially C6, C7, and Classic Corvettes. I'm an immediate buyer for very clean, low-mile examples. Hop on our site, MasterCarsInc.com, or give us a call to submit what you have. We'll even come to you if we have to. No money on it? Don't worry. We'll make the payoff and pay your equity right on the spot. This has been a fantastic Corvette summer, and I want to keep it rolling.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit MasterCarsInc.com to get more details. That's MasterCarsInc.com.
Carney, Buck.
Hope you enjoyed your weekend. We're back to work on the Monday show. The great Bootsy Collins joins the broadcast. Also, Rob Silverstein joins us to pepper a few famous names around that he's been hobnobbing with. And Channel 5's Mark Maxwell chimes in with what he's been up to. That starts at noon. We'll see you here.
John Carney, Julie Buck. Weekdays at noon on KTRS. The talk of St. Louis. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
A court is ordering Instagram and Facebook parent company Meta to pay $567 million to address harms to children. Alex Stone, ABC News correspondent in L.A., joins us with that story. Is this a surprise?
Well, it's not so much because we saw what the jury did in the first phase of this, but it still is a big headline in it because this is a court in New Mexico that is saying, hey, that, akin to tobacco years ago, you think about all of the claims of knowingly making tobacco addictive. That's kind of what this was about, too, where the state of New Mexico was claiming that Meta and other social media companies, but in this case Meta, so Instagram and Facebook, that they knowingly made it more and more addictive for children, the allegation was, and the jury found and the judge found. So this was the second phase. First phase back in March, a jury found that Meta broke the law. They said 75,000 times Meta violated New Mexico's Unfair Practices Act, and the jury imposed a fine of $375 million, which for Meta is not that much money, but it was symbolic. And now in phase two, the judge ruling this week that Meta helped fuel the youth mental health crisis in New Mexico, and has said that he found that Meta designed Facebook and Instagram to be addictive and to get children hooked and want more and more of it, and is ordering it to pay $567 million more, so almost $1 billion in the end of this, that are going to go to youth treatment and prevention programs for mental health. This is New Mexico's Attorney General today saying that this is a big deal.
Yesterday's decision was, by all accounts, a historic moment.
And the judge ruled that features like endless scrolling, autoplay of videos, notifications going off, and content recommendations, that they are made to keep users, especially teenagers, looking at their phones on the platform, becoming addicted to it. And the judge said that he has found that led to higher rates of depression and anxiety and self-harm and eating disorders and suicide risk among teenagers and children. So this does go back to, in many ways, is kind of like the tobacco rulings many decades ago, and the AG said,
setting out a blueprint for the rest of the country and, frankly, the rest of the world for how we expect businesses of this type to conduct themselves in our state and how we specifically protect our kids when it comes to social media.
And guys, in a statement, Meta said it disagrees with this ruling. It is vowing to appeal. The AG says, oh, yeah, no, they fully expect Meta is going to appeal this.
We have always anticipated an appeal from Meta. They have not shown any willingness to either accept responsibility for their conduct or concede that they have a role to play in fixing and addressing the harms that they created.
But assuming an appeal does go forward, he said it could take years on that appeal, but he does want Meta to begin having to do some of this stuff. There's some rulings, parts of this ruling about limiting hours for children to 90 hours a week at most, of working on age verification. He wants more done with that to make sure when somebody signs up that these companies really work to verify that they are of a certain age. Meta has to pay most of this money to youth mental health, but it'll go elsewhere as well. They've got to do things like set up a 24/7 contact line for New Mexico to contact them if they ever have a problem in an emergency, so that then Meta could do something. So Meta's got this. They have a federal trial coming up later in a couple of weeks in California. A number of states are suing, claiming much of this, the same here, that they have knowingly made it addictive. But the other side of this whole argument is capitalism, that aren't companies supposed to make their products where people want them and they buy them? And you could, at least from the side of Meta, that they're saying that's what a company does to make the consumer wanting to use that product, and that's what they did.
So go back to that other states. This was New Mexico. Does this mean we can have 49 more of these?
Yeah, well, most of them are going to be one trial where they're all coming together, depending on where it goes. And there have been some others here and there, but the attorneys general of a bunch of other states, including Missouri and Colorado and California, have come together and kind of made it one big landmark trial. So we'll see that going forward here in the next couple of months.
And all of this comes after Meta's AI went crazy. They're not having the best week.
It's been, yeah, if you're a PR person, a spokesperson for Meta, I'm sure they're very busy this week.
Yeah. Alex, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, guys.
St. Louis is a small town, and we all know it, especially Indoor Comfort Team. Since their beginning in 1979, Indoor Comfort Team Heating and Air Conditioning has served their neighbors with old-school honesty and integrity, fair and common-sense pricing, and fast, reliable service with real human support. When you call them, whether you need a second opinion or a whole new HVAC system, you'll get a real human being on the other line. No AI, no robot answering machines. From HVAC installation to repairs, even water heaters, Indoor Comfort Team will take care of you. And with summer already upon us, maybe it's time to get that air conditioner checked. Indoor Comfort Team takes care of our community because they're a part of it. Check them out today at indoorcomfortteam.com
or call 314-894-8200.
It's Julie Buck, and I wanted to pop on here just to give my friends at Rankin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital some love. You know, healing goes beyond medicine. The hospital is built on a simple but powerful philosophy. Play helps children heal. Through their Care Beyond the Bedside model, kids are encouraged to leave their hospital rooms, play, explore, and simply be kids while they recover. To support Rankin Jordan's work, donate at rankinjordanfoundation.org and join us for the Beyond Gala on September 26th.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Meep, meep. It is 5:30 on this Friday. We're getting so close to starting the weekend. Maybe some of you already have. Joe Davis, what do you see on the roads?
Yes, we have a right lane blocked in St. Charles on 70 West, just past 5th Street. That is stop-and-go traffic all the way back to 270. There is also stopped traffic in Gray Summit on 44 westbound between Missouri 100 and Route O. And we also have stop-and-go traffic in Lake St. Louis on 64 West between 364 and 70. Tonight, there's one northbound lane of 55 that will be closed between Weber and 4500 Broadway from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Saturday morning. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rack House in Cottleville. Stop by for brunch or happy hour, or have the Rack House cater your next event with box lunches or buffets to accommodate groups of 10 to 200 people. The Rack House, featuring a seasonal menu with upscale casual dining and drinks since 2014. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Joe Davis on the Big 550 KTRS.
There's a lot of fun stuff going on this weekend. You know, we had the folks in from St. Louis Fringe Fest a couple weeks ago, and they had so many great shows planned. That actually kicks off. It's underway now, actually, at the Grand Center Arts, and will continue throughout the weekend. Then you've got Meet Me in St. Louis at the Muni, and we're actually going to talk to Kofi Coleman, the CEO and president at the Muni, next week, because the season's wrapping up. I cannot believe it's wrapping up. But Meet Me in St. Louis, it runs through the 13th. You got the Super Fair at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Of course, we were talking about Cardinals, and the Rockies are coming to town. You can never get enough baseball. The St. Louis Water Lantern Festival is also happening. That's at the Arch. And then the zoo has Bubbles and Games theme night on August 8th. So lots of things going on in St. Louis. And of course, there's things all over the area. I mean, the city of Florissant has Music Under the Stars. That's the 9th, which is Sunday night.
Sunday.
Yeah. That's at St. Ferdinand Park. You've also got First Fridays in St. Charles at the Foundry Arts Center. I mean, just so much to do. You should never be bored in this.
If you really got to look and search. And I don't know if there's a single place for all these things except right here on the Heidi Glaus Show to let you know what's going on.
Place to have it.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green. Online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpets sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
What does the Science Center, Lambert Airport, the Magic House, McDonnell Douglas, and St. Louis firehouses all have in common? They all trusted their roof to Beatty Roofing. Beatty Roofing has been in business for 70 years. They're not storm chasers. They're based right here in St. Louis, and they've been doing it right for 70-plus years. And if you need a roofer, Beatty Roofing. In fact, first responders get an extra 10% off all roofs. 314-892-1331 or online, BeattyRoofing.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
You know, sometimes it is the simple things in life. And as we gear up to go back to school, experts say that schools need to provide students with more recess.
Yes.
All right.
Recesses have been shrinking over the years, and that's worsening children's health. They say kids should get a minimum of 20 minutes of recess every day and multiple breaks. I don't know.
Somebody, one of our fantastic texters of a certain age, take me back to the 60s. Did we have 2 recesses, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, or was it just the one? Or maybe it was recess and lunch? You could go outside.
Yeah, maybe.
I do remember recesses awesome. Either playing foursquare, and in the spring, the guys would run down and play softball on the big field. It was fantastic.
I was always in the middle of the games, and the only time it really did not turn out great is we were playing ultimate frisbee, and I had braces at the time.
I'm already.
And it.
My gums are bleeding already.
I didn't get it, and
your mouth did.
I can
sure
taste
did.
the blood in my mouth.
It like hooked on the braces.
Oh,
the frisbee did?
Yeah, no,
Or your gum?
my gums did, and then my whole face
cheek.
like blew up, and it was the only day I was allowed to miss school without really being sick.
Poor Heidi.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. So I went to Catholic grade school.
So did I.
In the 90s. And I remember that we had a recess at lunch, but then we also had like a 2 p.m. recess.
I think we may have had 2. I went to Mount Pleasant Grade School, not too far, a couple miles from here, near Page and Lindbergh. And in fact, you can see it from Page and Lindbergh. But my memory's a little foggy. It felt like 2 recesses, like you were saying.
Yeah, we had 2.
Maybe 15 minutes each or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the older we got, the less we got.
Yeah.
But how much are we getting?
Well, this says there's no benchmark for recess. It ranges from less than 10 minutes at some schools to more than an hour at others. And according to the latest studies, students should get a minimum of 20 minutes a day and multiple breaks. So
You know what's terrible? I'm 84126. How much recess do your kids get? My son's in school. I have no idea. I haven't asked.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Father of the Year
Once
from
again.
St. Charles.
What?
No, that kind of stuff would always go right
gonna
by
ask.
me.
I'm going to ask,
Yeah.
and I'm going to find out. Because it's also really helpful when you find out what days he has gym and what days he has music. Because I read something one time where it said, don't ask your kids what they did that day.
No.
Because they'll say nothing.
Nothing.
They'll say nothing. Ask them some more in-depth questions, and how was gym today?
Did you play dodgeball today?
Yeah. So I'm
Except
gonna.
I don't think they let you play dodgeball anymore, which is
figure this
so
out.
sad.
How else do we realize who the winners and losers in life are?
Exactly. You know what was even worse?
Sorry,
I don't know,
Josh, no offense.
How you guys played dodgeball, but at my Catholic school, we had a wall, and it was almost like you weren't really throwing balls back. You just had your people you were aiming at, and if you could really throw, they'd hit their head against the brick wall behind them.
Yeah, it was like a firing
You're a good
squad.
American. I love it.
Right?
I mean, how do you not? Now, here's
Grade school firing squad.
Yeah. Here's
That's
another,
fantastic.
I feel like a good news story. And I think our seniors need as much of this as possible. But senior citizens in Tennessee got to participate in a giant slip and slide day. So I guess the senior living community decided to host a fun outdoor fair, and the residents took part in the giant slip and slide. There were caregivers, firefighters, some college athletes that all played along, but it's kind of fun.
I'm sure it was really, really fun, except for the old people like me that got hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say, did they?
That's
take
why they
all
had the
precautions?
firefighters and the
I was gonna
EMTs there.
say.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever do the parachute in gym?
What's
You
that?
get out a giant parachute.
That was way after our time.
big circle, and you would grab an end and you would shake
And
it up
somebody
and
get in the
down.
middle?
And somebody, well, you throw a ball in the middle, and the ball.
I
would
still
go
don't
up.
understand. I mean, what's fun about that?
Oh, it was so fun. The parachute was like multicolored. It was really, and then you'd raise it up and you'd get underneath it. It was fun.
Sounds like a blanket at home.
Yeah, but like,
Didn't you do the climbing the rope to the top of the gym where you could
Oh, I
fall
thought that
50
was
feet?
so hard. And they had a mat that was maybe
This.
an inch thick, like it was going to do anything.
No. It was so crazy that they would not only let us do it, they insisted
Yes,
we do it.
you had to.
How did kids not die from that?
Well, no,
Well-
because you grabbed the rope.
I never got up very high.
Oh, that
Shock.
first time you can get
Surprise,
all the
surprise.
way to the
Well, and
ceiling of
touch
the
the
gym.
ceiling.
Oh my
what-
gosh!
Yeah.
I am a man.
No, I never
Couple
had that feeling.
People weighing in. I went to Lutheran grade school. We played street hockey during recess. My kids go parochial grade school, and it's been the same for more than 50 years at this school. 15 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes after lunch, then another 15 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Three recesses.
In 8th grade, we broke a kid's arm playing dodgeball.
Yeah.
Ooh, I bet he or she is still really mad. Somebody else talking about the slip and slide said it sounds like a broken hip waiting to happen. But fun.
We used to have these little scooters, four-wheeled. You sit on them, and you kind of like scoot around, and
Oh, I
it had
remember
a
that.
hockey stick.
The little toy, kind of the little plastic ones, right?
Yeah, scooter hockey.
That would be fun.
That was always pretty fun.
Now back to dodgeball.
Yes.
I was little and scrawny. You were already an athlete in recess.
I was pretty little.
but not scrawny. And so they're and you say, oh well, the big kids are no. Just because you're not one of the big kids doesn't mean you can't strategize.
Oh,
Sneak
dynamite
behind
comes
people.
in small packages.
Yeah, and then you wait, and then as people are dropping like flies, finally you'll get a ball. Maybe you be at the side,
and they don't even
and
see
one of the
you.
studs from the other side's up there trying to take somebody's head off, and you just sneak up and bonk them.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's life. It's life.
It sure is.
Big kids were big targets.
One thing, I try to do is not think about all the money I have to spend. But sometimes it goes through your head and you think, I got to buy this, I got to spend money on that. But the money that you spent on your house is probably the biggest single purchase you've ever made. So it makes sense to protect it. And you know what? There might be things going on up top there on the roof that you can't see. Allen Roofing can. They don't even have to go up there. They can send some drones up to have a look, find out the problem, give a diagnosis, sit down with you and say, what shall we do from here to protect that asset of yours that you spent all that money on? It only makes sense, whether it's a roof, whether it's siding, tuck pointing, anything to do with the outside of your house. They will help you protect it. Find them online at aroofing.net.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Let's talk a little entertainment news. A live-action Jetsons movie starring Jim Carrey is in the works. We don't know anything else, but I loved the cartoon. And this morning, when they were teasing this in the pop start on the Today Show, they were all singing this Jane, his wife.
Did you notice that Al Roker has a crazy amount of knowledge about the Jetsons?
Yes. And I didn't know if it was real or not. If he was making stuff up or if it was...
he was serious.
Yeah, it was...
He knew it, like Astro apparently has a full name, and Al Roker knows what Astro's full name is.
How about that?
So that's deep Jetsons lore.
That's really deep.
Remember when he got money out and gave it to his wife, and she took the whole wallet?
Oh, right.
Grown Ups 3 is officially in production. I'm not sure why, but Adam Sandler posted a cast photo, and it looks like all the OGs are coming back. Chris Rock, Kevin James, David Spade, Rob Schneider, Maria Bello.
The kids.
The kids
are all in it, and it's weird. I have to say, on one hand, you'd go, well, certainly not Arch.
Mm-hmm.
And they're okay and almost too silly. Yet when I'm flipping through and it's on, I'll watch.
Yeah.
I'll watch. Now, there are 4 words that you can understand why. Salma Hayek, Maria Bello.
Yep.
So there are 4, but they're somehow, at least on TV, watchable. I don't know that I'd go to the movies.
Right, but just kind of fun and funny.
And Sandler's just terrific.
You're right.
We were on vacation down at the beach, and it's just lazy. Full days, slow nights.
Yeah.
We put it on and we just laughed and laughed.
Yeah.
The original or all of them?
I think it was the original, and then we watched the second one. It was just kind of a fun, dumb.
You know what? I think then maybe we do need a Grown Ups 3.
Fun,
Let's go
dumb
for it.
movie.
Okay. Morgan Freeman is willing to overlook an imperfect movie script for the right paycheck. He said sometimes you can mention things that are in the script that don't quite work out for you, and by large, that ends up getting worked out. He also compared himself to Clint Eastwood in that neither of them have plans to slow down with age. He said, don't let the old man in. If you can get out of bed and don't fall down when you do it, then you just count your blessings and keep moving. So I'll work as long as I can.
That's really good, and it's okay to work for money.
That's right.
That's what we do.
That's why it's work.
I think it was Michael Caine. Was he in Jaws 3D? Michael Caine. Have you ever heard the thing they asked him about, because it's notoriously awful?
Mm-hmm.
And they asked him about it, and he goes, no, I've never seen it, but I've seen the house that it bought. And it's lovely.
Yeah, that's a great quote. Shaka Khan is reflecting on her bond with Prince. She said they connected over their love of the same books.
How about that?
Thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Minnie Driver says she's lucky to be alive following a bad car accident in France. She did a video on one of her social medias, and she is in a neck brace. She clarified that the T-bone accident, which took place on an old country road, was not her fault. She said a car didn't stop at an intersection and was going at the speed and just T-boned it. She said, I'm fine. I have a sprained neck, but thankful to be alive.
I've always been a fan of hers, and I felt like she didn't work enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, she broke out in Good Will Hunting, and then you haven't really seen
She did
much
the
of
thing
her.
with Cusack.
Gross Point Blank.
Gross Point Blank. It's a terrific
And then she was
film.
on Will and Grace for a little while.
Yeah.
She was great on that.
Yeah, I mean, you think of all of her performances, you go, she's darn good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why she didn't.
Haven't seen her in years.
Nikki Six says Motley Crue does need backing tracks, but he says only for things they can't do themselves, like orchestras. He said we do play 100% live. I think most bands now have some kind of tracking. Rascal Flat singer Gary LaVox jokes that he'll have to put Ella Langley in a chokehold because her song "Choosing Texas" has become inescapable. He says once he hears the melody, it's stuck in his head all day.
Yeah, me too.
But I love it.
It's a great song. It really is great.
Yeah. If you're looking for something to watch this weekend, Sunday night at 6 on USA, you can catch the premiere of that 3-part docuseries, NASCAR Americana. It's executive produced by Peyton Manning. Let's do a couple birthdays.
Let's do just a couple. They were a little weaker. I might throw a third one in there. This one, we mentioned Salma Hayek and Maria Bello.
You did.
Well, I got an
agree.
affirmative nod from
agree.
Heidi because I know Heidi is in agreement with me. This is also going to be on both our lists. Charlize Theron.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
my God.
Oh, my goodness.
That commercial.
Melt out of my seat.
So how old is the lovely South African?
I'm going to say she is
54.
49.
51. Very close. Very close. Okay. I'm going to bring up this one just because there's a movie I think that nobody's seen that is really, really good. The actor is David Duchovny. You've heard me talk about it before, Josh. The movie Evolution from 2001. It has David Duchovny, Julianne Moore, Sean William Scott, Orlando Jones, Dan Aykroyd. It's very funny.
It was good.
So you have seen,
I've
you
seen
know
it,
it's good.
yeah.
So how old is David Duchovny? Long way to get there, but yes. How old?
67.
I said 3. Heidi said 7.
66. Heidi gets that one. One more. This could be right up Heidi's alley.
Okay.
He is a renowned country singer. 5 straight number ones back in the 80s. Something about, he's always kind of melancholy and kind of an Eeyore, kind of a, I don't know, something about his tone. But everyone loves him and respects him. Rodney Crowell.
Oh, Rodney Crowell. Let's see. I'm gonna say he's 71.
He's 76. All right, let me just give this one to Josh. How old's Wayne Knight? Newman.
Hello, Newman.
Is he 68?
Oh, I bet he's 70.
71. Heidi got it.
Wow.
She came in and stole it.
Ah, how about it? That is your evening entertainment report here on the Big 550.
And on that movie Evolution, selenium.
Selenium in Head and Shoulders, right?
Which is found in dandruff shampoo, becomes a key part of the movie. And I was using Head and Shoulders at the time. And the next time I went in the shower, I looked on the back, and sure enough, selenium.
That's interesting because Premier U, when I met with them, one of the things I'm supposed to take every day is a Brazil nut because it has it in it.
Selenium?
How about that?
Well, you could just drink Head and Shoulders.
Well, I don't want to drink Head and Shoulders.
Meep, meep.
8 minutes before 6, let's get one final check of traffic on this Friday from Joe Davis.
Yes, that accident that was blocking the right lane in St. Charles on 70 West just past 5th Street has been cleared and traffic is finally moving at a normal pace. But we do have slow traffic on 64 East between McKnight and Hanley Road. And tonight, one northbound lane of 55 will be closed between Weber and 4500 Broadway from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Saturday morning. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Joe Davis on the Big 550 KTRS.
When you go to the dentist, you actually want to be seen by the dentist. When you go to Dr. Bowen, his bedside manner is right there. That's why he's been dubbed Dr. Velvet Hands, with its teeth whitening, teeth cleaning, Invisalign, and yes, dental implants. When you go to corporate dentists, you meet with the finance person. Not at Dr. Bowen. You're meeting with the dentist himself, who can help you every single step of the way. So for all of your dental needs, including implants, Dr. Bowen. 2 locations in South County and in North County. Bowen Dental Care, or simply securedentures.com.
The heat of summer has arrived with humidity, dew points, and constant hydration. But it's always cool and comfortable at Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant. Whether it's summer camp, cooling off at the pool, or just relaxing in the shade, Gingham's is a great way to start or finish any day. Just add us to your to-do list. The management and staff at Gingham's would like to wish our customers and friends a safe and enjoyable summer, and to the United States of America, a very happy 250th birthday. Gingham's Restaurant St. Charles or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
How do you separate estate planning from elder law? You don't, because they're so intertwined. Let's face it, we're all getting older, and you need to make these decisions today, whether it's for your parents, for yourself, or for future generations. Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, Caroline Stolzer, and now it's Matthew Furr have been navigating these important decisions for more than 50 years. Beck, Lennox, Stolzer, estate planning, and elder law. Call them 636-946-7899 or beckelderlaw.com. You can thank me later.
Summer is here, and it's not too late to book your next vacation or quick last-minute getaway with the travel experts at AAA Travel. AAA Travel makes vacation planning easy and stress-free with amazing deals on cruises, all-inclusive resorts, escorted tours, and family vacations. Take advantage of their great summer deals. Trips are booking up quickly, so book now to lock in better pricing and availability. Visit your local AAA Travel office or go online, AAA.com/travel.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, let's wrap this show this week up with a couple randoms.
All right, a rabbi named Tobias Geffen is the only known non-Coca-Cola employee to view the secret formula.
Ooh.
How?
Coke allowed it way back in 1935 to get kosher certification.
Huh.
So they let the rabbi look at the recipe.
How cool.
And they said, obviously, you can't tell
Anybody.
Wow.
AT&T Stadium in Texas, where the Cowboys play. It was one of the World Cup stadiums. On game day, uses more energy than the entire country of Liberia.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
That's terrible, but, the game must go on.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's scientific proof that closing your eyes while trying to remember accurate details actually helps you remember them better.
I believe that because you can kind of picture them, right?
Yeah. See, well, he was a blonde gentleman with a green shirt.
Well, because if your eyes are open, you're seeing other
things. It's interfering.
Yeah.
It's like we're trying to do something in your car, you turn
the radio down.
But it declutters things.
It does declutter. You guys, thank you for hanging out with us on this Friday and Thursday and Wednesday and Tuesday and Monday. We really appreciate it. Josh, you go get better.
Thank
and
you.
You guys have a great weekend. Hopefully you'll meet us back here Monday. And until then, see if you can put a smile on somebody's face.
Embrace the darkness at Nocturnal by Nature. It's a free family event Saturday, August 15th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's happening at the Bush Conservation Area, 2360 Highway D in St. Charles. You'll discover what goes on when the sun goes down. See live owl presentations, explore an inflatable cave and night hikes, meet real night creatures, dissect owl pellets, get mesmerized by moths, and probe the night sky through a telescope. And free snow cones to boot. Come experience the Nocturnal in your nature.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
It's been a tough Saturday on the lake. I ordered swim trunks in this orange cream color, but it's actually more orange auburn. Oh, and it's swimwear. I probably can't even return these.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
You know that honey-do list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has 2 locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. One great family, 2 great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that